We did use Masteron for a little bit. So Masteron is a medication they give to cancer patients, which increases appetite.
After that, I've kind of inched up my test to 825. I'll do like a half a cc a day, which I think is 825. And then I back down I shoot biceps, triceps, lateral, long head, medial delts, rear delts, lats. So obviously you get some hips. So we started them and it just breaks up the tissue to get more blood in there. And it's been a game changer.
This is why the whole reps in reserve thing has gone too far, especially for the younger kids, because you don't have that neural drive to get all your motor units involved in this set enough to make it effective to have reps in reserve. You need failure to force all of those motor units to get engaged so that you're activating all of your muscle, all of your fibers, and getting true stimulus.
I use that and like I feel like so normal. Like I'm not having any sexual side effects. I'm not having any acne side effects. I'm not having any sleep side effects from Trent. I'm not having like irritability.
Trenbolone tends to stimulate his central nervous system, opposed to that, it does the opposite. So it kind of counteracts that effect. So that's why he hasn't had as many effects with that. He actually went to pull it, started having sleep trouble, and actually no, put that back in, and then right back to the moment. When women's bodies hit high stress, it hits the brakes. So you've got to manage women's sleep, heart rates, and their anxiety like you wouldn't believe. K2, D3, multivitamins, citrus bergamot, omega-3 fish oils.
Metazomal, nattokinase.
Yeah, the longer you have exposure to something, the more resistance you're going to build to it. So I don't like anything sitting in the system long enough for that to happen. I like it to go in and out. A lot of people like Atlantis and such, and I'll explain why that's stupid.
Yeah, brother, you're looking crazy bubbly right now.
Thanks, man.
Crazy.
It was you got to see this in fucking person.
How tall are you?
Almost 5'10", just under 5'10".
Damn, bro, you look fucking way bigger. You look massive.
Well, we just took a video yesterday because everybody lies about their weight. So I just took a video.
Because everybody lies about their weight.
They all lie about their weight. I'm telling you, I'm not going to call any people out, but I know certain people that have won certain shows like 20 pounds under what they told everybody.
Really?
But, oh yeah, for sure.
The only people that can't lie about their weight is classic guys.
Yeah, like me.
No, the open guys lie like crazy.
I never lie about my weight. I'm actually 300 pounds.
One guy actually won an open show years ago. We under 212, but I'm not going to say who. But it's crazy how people lie. So you take a video and he's 242, but the thing is, he's 242 with like a 32-ish inch waist, which is insane for open. You know, if his waist is 40, he'd be 255.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, dude, you're looking so peeled right now. Like I can see the glutes coming in, especially in your side chest. The amount of striations in your glutes right now is pretty nuts.
Yeah, that was actually what came in first. Before Phil got here, I don't know if you know it, but I got sick like maybe a week ago. And I hit him up and I was like, man, I think I got to step on the gas because like I'm feeling like my glutes aren't in. And then he got here and literally like 2 days later, like my glutes were just like from the inside to the outside.
Fire.
From the back. So yeah.
Fire.
I got to work on my posing a little bit more to kind of like present it better, but it's there when I'm like doing it in the mirror and I can look at myself and do it in the mirror. It's there, but I got to like work on the posing.
Yeah. I think the mustache also adds a little bit of anabolic poundage.
Yeah, like my Doc Holliday mustache.
Fire. Yeah. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm having some technical difficulties with this screen.
All good. All good.
Jesus Christ. All right, whatever. You guys are going to be miniature, so it's fine. You're big enough, so I can still see you. Appreciate you guys for coming on, by the way, on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's how long did it take you, or when did you start bodybuilding in the first place, Luke?
I mean, I always wanted to be a bodybuilder since I was like 13. I didn't get probably serious about it. Well, I competed in my first shows maybe like 23 years old, but you know, I'd only been doing it for hardly any time. And then when I went to college, I didn't really compete at all. I just went to college, but I was still like bodybuilding through those years. So I was gaining like 10 pounds a year when I was doing that.
Jesus Christ, how are you getting 10 pounds a year?
I started about 185 and my kind of natural weight that I'm at now is about 240. So, you know, for like 6 or 7 years, I just kept on gaining about 10 pounds every year.
What do you mean by like
I was going to college? So I would like start out the semester. All right, I'm gonna hit all my macros and get all my foods in and stuff. And then by the end of like midterms, I was just like missing workouts and eating out of the vending machine, Pop-Tarts, and just whatever I could get
Yeah.
in. So then my weight would just kind of whatever. And then like, spring break, summer break, and would start to climb back up. And then, so I kind of went through this for like 2 years while I was in college. And then as soon as I graduated college, I was like, all right, full speed on bodybuilding. So that's when I went back. I competed at the Mr. California in 2016, and then I won the overall, and then that kind of started my progression.
Phil has such a fucking
He's
look of
just not
disappointment.
from this planet. Well, I always joke around. I always say he's like, well, this works for me. I'm like, you don't count. You're Kryptonian. Like that's not, like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, this is the most unconventional like bodybuilder. Like it's, if I didn't know physiology as well as I did, it would be impossible to coach him because his body is not like anybody else's body. It's insane. So like the way he responds, the way he grows. When you broke your forearm and lost all that muscle and then gained it back, what did you gain? 1 pound a day for 40 days, 30 days, something like that?
Oh, I've done that probably 4 times throughout my career. Like just 1 pound a day for a month. I was sending him check-ins like every day. I would send him a check-in. I'd be like, I think I got down to 236. And then but between like January and February, I was like 255, 260. And I mean, it was just, I wasn't doing insulin or anything. I was just doing like test and primo. That's my standby.
Damn, brother.
But I mean, I was eating a lot of calories too. So
you own Pop-Tarts right now?
I wish.
Is that the secret you're giving him, Phil? Pop-Tarts?
No, absolutely not. We don't mess with anything right now. We're not trying to mess with his digestion or anything else. His system can be sensitive. So, we're just being very, very careful. I'm micromanaging everything by like the hour. What do we eat for this meal? What do we do for this meal? Like I had his girlfriend is like my co-coach. Without her, this is not possible. She's amazing. So I like sent her his plan this morning in case like they woke up before me. And then I got up and I saw him. I was like, all right, throw that out. We're doing something else.
That's cool. I feel like the synchronicity between trying to coach somebody with their partner being a part of it can get fucking difficult.
It's been a game changer for me because she moved in December, and I have a picture actually. It was right at Thanksgiving, so it was the end of November, and I was 234.
I sent you that picture.
234 pounds, and I took like a pic, and I would look like aesthetic, whatever. And then she lived with me. We were just started training. She's a pro as well, so she's making all the meals. We're eating together. We're kind of pushing each other, and that's kind of what I went from 236 or 234 to 262 between December and March, and then we started prep in March, and now I'm 242. So we figure I probably gained about 25, 28 pounds of lean tissue, like in that time. Like I gained obviously like some fat, but like I started out at maybe like a 14%, 234, and now I'm like a 5%, 242.
What the fuck, man? Wait, how big were you before all that happened? Like, what's the heaviest you've ever gotten?
Heaviest I've ever touched was 270. I got in a motorcycle accident in 2021. I ended up having to have 4 surgeries on my right arm. And after that, I dropped down. I drop down to about 230 is like the lowest I get to. And then I started training with this guy, Brian Johnson. It's actually a coach under Phil. And him and I were just like militant, just 2 days on, 1 day off, just progressive overload, just going, nuts with our numbers. And I touched 270 kind of briefly. I touched 265, but 270 was like the heaviest I ever like woke up at.
Playing devil's advocate, how much do you think this was a muscle memory?
Oh, every time I think it's probably a lot of muscle memory. But even still, even though it's muscle memory, it's still like there's still a lot of contractile tissue that's coming
unreal.
on.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I mean, I did it this time because we got the hair transplant in October. So they told me like, take off all the gear and everything. And so when I was off gear, we went on a cruise. She was moving in, so we were going back and forth from San Diego, and I was just like missing workouts, missing meals. So that's where I got down to is like 234 after kind of all that. So obviously a ton of it's just muscle memory. And then when I kind of get locked in, I mean, I start pushing the calories up. I get maybe around 6,000, 6,500. Lots of protein, but also like lots of fats, lots of carbs, obviously. And they they store as muscle instead of fat.
Do you remember the ratio, or do you know the exact macro count?
It changes frequently.
I'm not a whole, like, basically I'm just like a big steak guy. So I was just crushing, we were doing ribeyes at the time. So I was crushing like a ribeye for breakfast with a cup of rice.
Fuck.
And then I do these, they're called Kerns. They're like a juice drink. I actually like them because they're kind of like made with real sugar and stuff, but they're uncarbonated. Each one of those is 40 grams of carbs. So I would do my meal, pound 2 of those with every single meal. So that's like an extra, 300-400 grams of carbs right there.
Well, actually, at one point, I literally had written into his plan in and out as the last meal.
Yeah. So then the last meal I would do a triple single animal fry and a shake, and then a large root beer. And that was like dinner every night. It was like 2,100 calories every night.
Wait, how are you guys able to smash that shit? Like, what do you think about insulin sensitivity right before you go to bed?
His body doesn't
smacking a fucking milkshake.
Doesn't respond negatively to anything. He was built for this. Like, his body just is so responsive. It's insane. So like, there's a lot of things that you have to take into account. There's a lot of things that you can do with him that you can't do with other people. There's a lot of things that you can't do with him that you would do with other people. But like, I'm telling you, his body can handle like a lot of calories, and his metabolism will just handle it. It'll just turn it all into muscle. And he'll also cut really, really fast. Like, he was on 262, 264, I think, range. And we got on the phone like 9 weeks out from Cali, and we're just talking. I'm like, you should do Cali. He's like, did you get me ready in 9 weeks? I was like, we could do it in 6. He's ready now at 2 weeks out. So we did it in 7.
So basically,
but he got sick twice.
One thing I think that kind of along the lines of what you were asking is I don't really use GH. So I'm not getting that like insulin resistance from people using, higher GH. I did this prep. We've been using 4 units kind of throughout, but like when I'm rebuilding and in the off season and stuff, mostly just because I can't afford it. Like, I just can't afford $1,800 worth a month of GH. So I'm just like, screw it. I'll just do Test and Primo, And then I'm not a big insulin user either, just because like I'm like, we just bought a gym. I'm like on the go. So like stopping and making sure that I'm like, doing my insulin timing and stuff like that, pre-workout, post-workout, it's just too much like headache for me. So I kind of just rely on my body's, natural insulin sensitivity and production to kind of assimilate the food I have been. So could I get more? Potentially, if I was using the insulin, but like maybe the reason that I'm not getting insensitivity, like you're saying, is just because I'm not using those things that some other people have to.
But also, like, his insulin sensitivity is a little different than a lot of people. So like, post show, I would always say, when you're post show, be like, colleagues would be like, are you going to use insulin? No, because you're having a response as if you were on insulin because how high your sensitivity is, and his body responds that way. Like, when we peak for this show, we're not going to eat anywhere near the amount of carbs so a lot of the other competitors are, because he fills up very, very quickly on whatever little we give him. So he has that type of response. So doesn't really need that exogenous insulin. His body responds as if we did use it.
So basically, you guys are telling me that everything we're about to talk about for this hour is just not applicable to any of us.
But applies to nobody else but me.
Fire. Awesome. Great podcast, guys.
I mean, the principles are still there. I think I'm just like on the spectrum of like way over the edge of what most people probably are. I mean, I'm sure like guys like Nick and Samson are kind of along the same lines of able to do stuff that way.
Must be nice.
I hate him.
What's up, homies? I'm back at my new place now in Vegas, and we just came out with some new shirts for the transparent merch. None of the basic shit. Now we got some new sick styles, a little bit of a metal and rock inspired, some other shit, and then also a bunch of new colors. So you guys want to check that out on the site? That's www.icons, spelled AYKONS, icons.com/Nile. That'll automatically apply the Nile discount code and get you right to the site where we have the new designs up. And some of the stuff like the cutoff are 380 GSM French terry cotton. So pretty high quality stuff that were helped design by my boy Dion, one of my best friends in the world. This is the guy that he and I went through a lot in life in the last decade as our best friend Ryan passed away, and I'm really happy that I got to do this with him. But anyways, this is out. So if you guys ever need anything or you have any complaints, I'm fucking here. Just let me know. Let's ride this shit out and grab life by the balls, baby. Peace. But
Right on.
anyways, I want to figure out a way to for us to like relay this information in a way that's like digestible and applicable to like the audience ways that we can figure out.
I can break down whatever it is that anybody says like in between. So like I can kind of like after we discuss something, if it seems a little complex, I'll just throw in a little bit to break it down. It's not hard.
Okay. Yeah. Well, also in a way that's like, I feel like this could be I feel like this could be valuable for coaches.
I can make it digestible for everybody.
A lot of coaches have, there's just so much variance across the board when it comes to genetics and how you have to play the field. But when it comes to each person, obviously, I feel like a majority of people listening to this might not have the same genetics as Luke. Probably not. So I'm trying to think of,
well, everybody, all human beings are going to have like the same responses, just different amplitudes and different ratios of them, right?
Right.
So like things like insulin sensitivity, how that works, muscle protein synthesis. Like I always said to him, like, we know that you need 3 grams of leucine to activate M-TOR, muscle protein synthesis, right, to build muscle.
Mhm.
But that's a scientific number, 3 grams. But that doesn't mean that's that way for everybody. And I always said to him, I'm like, bro, you're probably more like 2 grams, because I can give him meals that are like 7 ounces, 8 ounces, and he's 240 plus peeled and he won't lose muscle, So what does that tell you? It means his body stays in a very positive nitrogen state. So what that basically means is like our bodies have muscle protein breakdown and muscle protein synthesis, and synthesis has to outpace breakdown so that we don't lose muscle. And his body just stays in that positive state all the time. So I think that his body just, the switches that turn things on and off are much more sensitive with him. And we see that with a lot of things with him because he doesn't do stimulants. Like he doesn't take caffeine before he goes and does his morning cardio or the
shit, no way.
Like zero.
I did
Caffeine
something that
makes
was really amazing the last couple of days. I drank no caffeine whatsoever. I think I was the most proud I've ever been of myself. 2 days.
You know what?
And my mentality was like, bro, I must be building more muscle right now just because my cortisol is a lot lower. Like I have to be.
I actually don't like the way that caffeine makes me feel, because it almost makes me feel a little bit more like scatterbrained instead of like focused. Like if I do nicotine, like if I do like a nicotine lozenge or a pouch or something, I feel like that kind of like hit and I'm like focused on it.
Yeah.
Or like if I, when I was in college, I would do Adderall and stuff. But like with caffeine, I just always felt like I'm less tired, but I'm like more just like everything's like inputting too powerfully to like focus on it.
Okay. Interesting. Do you guys do anything for insulin sensitivity? Because, you said you don't take GH, you don't take insulin, but obviously insulin sensitivity seems to be on point.
I do pretty, like, I would say hard for like a guy my size cardio in the off season. I do like 25 minutes Stairmaster, 1 step per second. Heart rate gets up to like 145, 150, which I think that probably helps pretty significantly. And then I also do, almost not on purpose, but just like intermittent fasting. Like I'll stop eating maybe at 8 o'clock at night, and I don't even get my first meal in until maybe like 9 or 10 the next day. So it's like half the day is like, nothing in my system. So maybe just inadvertently doing things that increase insulin sensitivity over.
This is true. His body responds very volatile to a lot of things. So with him, the things that I'll do with him that like based on feedback are not the way I would respond with a client. If a client, like you're coaching, if a client tells you I can't give 5 meals in today, what are you going to say? Like, well, then don't do this. You're not a bodybuilder. You can't hack it. If I force 5 meals in him, he'll throw up. Like his body will freak out. Like he'll eat it and he'll throw up every time. Like he'll force it on because he's tough. That's one of the reasons like why we really got along initially. Like the first time we met, he flew in to train with me and we're doing legs and it's his set. And he's like, oh, I feel nauseous. I'm like, all right, take a second. He's like, no, fuck this. And goes to the garbage can, sticks his finger down his throat, throws up, comes back and does his set. I'm like, oh, I like this guy. So he's tough. He'll force it, but it won't work. So when he tells me he can't do something, I take that into account. When I got here, he was sick. What did you do the first couple days, 2 meals a day?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to force those meals down. I just was not, because his body would respond adversely. And he didn't lose any muscle mass whatsoever. He just got drier and leaner. And I know that about his body. His body requires a lot of sleep. And, that helps with recovery, helps elevate HSL. It keeps you low below your anaerobic threshold, which means you're burning more body fat than you would relative to, higher intensity activity where your body switches over to glucose. So I knew that he was in a very calm, safe state. There wasn't a lot of damage from training. So we weren't really at risk for any muscle loss. But anybody else, I wouldn't have done that. He's the only person where I was like, I feel okay with this. And it worked out beautifully.
Okay. Gotcha.
But like even off season, like sometimes he just can't eat and I'm not going to force it. If he needs sometimes he'll eat one meal in a day and I'm okay with that because I know what his body does and I know his body will make up for it. And I know how hard he trains. So I have the confidence that it's going to come back. And I know that if I start trying to, push a round peg through a square hole, he's going to get worse and worse and worse because we've tried it and it does not work.
We could actually relate this to this prep because like I was 260, 265 before I started. And it was like 8.5 weeks out and I like had something wrong with my stomach. I don't know if I was, jumping from like, full off season straight into prep, changing my supplements, changing my foods and stuff was just not responding, or if I had some kind of stomach virus. But I literally went through, what do you think, 5-6 days of just like 2 meals a day. I wanted 2 meals. Like I was doing all I could, but like I was trying to force it at first. And literally I forced it for like 3 days. I was just like forcing every meal down. And then on the third day, I like got sick and I like threw up, and I literally threw up like 18 times the amount of food that I eaten that day. It was like insane. Like my girlfriend was like, what the hell? What did you eat today? And I'm like, I don't know how that much food came out of me, but like, it just was like sitting there, not going down. And then after that, we spent a few days just kind of like, really what we have to do when I get into that issue is just start low. And Phil was like, all right, just try to get into 4 to 5 meals a day and just start at like 2 ounces a meal. And he's like, when you're hungry, go to 3. When you're hungry, go to 4. And we literally just like built it back up. But I dropped from like that, low 260s to like 245, 247. And then I've basically been right there through the entire prep the rest of the time.
Gotcha.
I was pretty confident with it because we're at the beginning of prep, right? And this is for all of your viewers. When you're at the very beginning of prep, the higher your body fat is, the less likely you are to tap into muscle mass and lose mass because your body has a plentiful source of energy, right? It very easily is going to let go of that body fat. Anybody knows that's watched this, that's done this. When you start a diet, you lose body fat pretty quick in the first couple weeks. So I was pretty confident that his body was just going to tap into body fat and his muscle was going to be fine. And even if he did lose a little bit of muscle memory, we would have got that back instantly. So I had no problem with it. So then we just started titrating up the amount of meals little by little by little. And even right now, he's doing 4 meals a day, not doing 5, So, and I'm totally okay with that. And not only that, he's got carbs in all of his meals. If I give him just a protein meal without carbs, he gets a very upset stomach. So clients, don't start giving me BS because it's not going to I'm not giving it to you guys, but, he just needs a little bit of carbs with every single meal in order for his digestion. He's not complaining. He'll never complain.
He'll literally give me like 2 spoonfuls of rice.
Yeah, literally.
Piece of cinnamon.
That's so interesting, man.
But it's strange because like for some reason we did a day, I think, was it 2 days or 1 day? Which one? Of just like no carbs. And I was like, it was when I was like kind of the height of my sickness, but like my body just was like, I would sit there at the table and I would just like, for an hour, I would literally try to eat like 5 ounces of steak or 5 ounces of even tuna. And I was just like, it just would not go down. And then he added in maybe like 2 ounces of pineapple or something. And I was able to just like take a one bite of tuna, 1 bite of like together. And I was able to just like to get it down. So like the satiety factor for some reason with me is like a huge deal.
He's not he's not getting either. It was like 40. I was sitting next to him timing it. It was like 40 minutes. And I was like, you know what? Leave the meal. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you better stress yourself out more trying to get this down. It's been 40 minutes, So just cut it.
I got a theory that, so your side macronutrient, like carbohydrates or fats, just whatever macronutrient isn't protein. I have this theory that one of these normally is a lot more specific in terms of like a prioritization of one's like essential functions, and it just varies across the board. I think it's more common amongst the same ethnic group, but like for me, for example, if I'm not consuming enough fats in the beginning of the day, my meals throughout the rest of the day start stacking up in my stomach. The motility goes down like pretty significantly. But as long as I have as much essential fats as I know I need, and normally, like for me, for example, like I need to end the day with like at least 60 grams of fat, maybe 70. If it's a little bit lower than, and I have a really low calorie maintenance. So for the average person, it would be, I think, significantly higher.
Well, this is actually very common. I do this with almost all my clients as I bookend the day, especially if you're on a bulking diet and you're trying to get calories in. Well, fat's going to slow down motility a little bit, and it's going to be hard for you to digest at times. It's going to put a lot of stress on the system and whatnot. So what I do is I bookend them. I'll give a decent amount at breakfast, and then the largest fat meal is always going to be the last meal. And I do this almost across the board because it's the most efficient thing for digestion. And then people think, they always talk about, you have essential fatty acids. You got to have your minimum EFAs. Yes, but do you need it every single day? I load the off days with fats because there's no carbs in there, right? And everybody's usually hungry. It's usually a non-issue. So I will put fats higher on off days when I have zero carbs with most people. And I will pull them down on training days in favor of putting in more carbs because you have a fast metabolism, tiny waist. You have actually a really great structure. We were talking about it before we got on here. And I would imagine you need a lot of carbohydrates. It looks like you need a lot of carbohydrates through the day, but you're not going to be able to eat high carbohydrates and high fat and digest and process it and still be able to function and perform, right? You'd probably be bloated during your workout, feel like crap, be sluggish, right? Bogged down. Am I wrong?
As long as I'm partitioning that food meal like way ahead of my workout, then yeah, it'll be fine.
He actually did that with me in the off season because I'm a big like wake and steak guy. It's kind of like a thing that I do. I wake up and have a big steak and rice or something. I don't do eggs. Yeah, I don't do eggs, but he started having me do that, and I was pissed because I'm like, well, I can't do wake and steak then if I'm, if I can't have. He's like, do like 10 grams of fat is like your max for breakfast, and I was like, fuck, this sucks. So then I started doing like other foods, but it really worked because I was able to like push through a lot of calories earlier in the day, and then he's like, and then you can get this in and out or to backload all these fats later in the day, and you're still getting in your calories and your fats, but we got in your protein high enough in the earlier meals throughout the day. So he did that with me as well. And I don't know if you necessarily need, like, there's been days on this prep where I go like nearly zero fats, but like you have a lot of body fat on your body too. You don't necessarily need like fat all the time to have those essential fatty acids. You're like, they're sitting right there on your ass and your stomach,
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I still think that to a certain extent, depending on who you are. Like for me, for example, I gain a good amount of fat in the first 3 months of the off season, as normally anybody would. But even then, if I'm not consuming a certain amount of fats in the beginning of the day, or I didn't consume an insane amount like the previous day, then my motility slows down pretty significantly. This isn't as good of an example, but my friend Wyatt, for example, he's prepping for a show in, I don't know, 16 weeks or so. He was consuming about 40 grams of fat each day. Not only was he feeling like shit, as a lot of people would be, but his food was just getting stuck in his stomach. And I was telling him, bro, just increase those fats by like 15 to 20 grams and just see what happens. Let's just start there and just see what happens. He did it. Gut motility sped up, and he feels so much better day to day. Obviously, he just compensated by lowering the carbohydrates, so he has the same calorie intake every day, but everything feels better. And I'm like, bro, this is going to make you, not only is prep going to go more smoothly, but you're going to be less stressed out, less exhausted, less tired. You're probably going to end up with a better look.
Well, what you're explaining is there's just so much biodiversity, it probably comes down to your gut microbiome, and just like if you're taking betaine and having enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach.
And that's what I was going to ask you guys too, if you're taking betaine HCl with your meals, because I'm sure you are with the issue you've got.
Yeah, what did it be, gram?
Gram to a gram and a half. And then how many ounces?
He's having me do mass enzymes, and we actually double the dose on mass enzymes every meal.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the things that you're describing, they're common. But again, you've got to remember, people think that everything needs to be handled every single day, day in and day out. And you've got to think of it like the big picture, right? So like what I do is, again, with most of my clients, is their off days have zero carbs. They're higher in fat, but they're also higher in fiber to clear out the digestive tract, to make room for all of the food on the training days. So their fiber is actually pretty low on training days. It's very high on off days. So like every couple days, because I usually tell them 2 on, 1 off training. If you're really training hard 3 days in a row is a bit much. So what happens is I just boost the fiber on their off days. So every like third day, they're really pushing everything through their system and clearing out their digestive tract so that they can handle the food more on training days. Not only that, because I've lowered the calories on those days and I've cleared everything out, I can give you more carbohydrates on your training days to push your performance. And that's going to be beneficial in that instance.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm gonna go run to a restroom real quick, but I'm fucking. So this is actually honestly super related to this.
Unconventional.
Bro, my brain is not working today because I ate like the biggest amount of calories yesterday. Just since I had a lot of rest days and then I just started off my chest day. IGF-1, everything is what I'm trying to grow. I had so much calories, and the problem is like every time I'm eating so much food, at the end of the day, no matter what, I've got a gut going to bed, and that takes away from my sleep quality like an insane amount. It's something that I've been trying to
hugely. When I was 262, because I have an Apple Watch, I started tracking my sleep and my sleep apnea. As soon as I passed like 255 and up, my sleep apnea just gets so bad. And then like I really have to do what you're saying and eat earlier in the day. Like I just have to start my day earlier and eat earlier, because like if I eat a meal like at 9 o'clock at night, I've like aspirated in my sleep probably 1,000 times in my life, where I literally just like throw up into my like throat and lungs, and I'm like coughing out acids. So, and it's miserable. And then I am getting like between 2 and 4 hours max. Like if I get 4 hours when I'm that heavy, I'm like, that's a godsend. So that's like a constant like recovery thing right there. So what you're saying is like there's ways to kind of like work around it, like maybe do the, like you said, fats earlier in the day, and then you're having just like meals that like mobilize a lot faster through your GI and stuff like that. So, but are you off season right now? I know you were competing a bunch like earlier.
Yeah, I'm off season.
Okay,
maybe like three months in or so.
Okay. Yeah, you
we're,
went off.
We're at 202 also, so we're not victim weight anymore.
You got the now hair time, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Did you go off season like right after you did that? You just went into your off season?
It was in the middle of my health phase, so I had like 6 more weeks or so of the health phase, and then afterwards, that's when I kicked in the off season. But I started the off season slowly because I wanted to experiment myself with like Chris Tuttle's type of like tapering things up. Okay. So I just started at 350 test, 300 primo. Yeah. And that kind of like, I noticed my muscle, I feel like my muscle memory kicked in with my training and my nutrition and like just at those low doses. So I feel like I brought myself back up to normal, and then I bumped
That's like exactly where I started in December. Phil, I was like, well, what can I run? Because you're not supposed to be on the DHTs and stuff right after the hair transplant. And he was like,
I came up with something very mild.
Yeah, we did test NPP, Ostarine, and then there's like a low dose of Anavar on training days.
We
Ostarine
actually went together for our hair transplants.
Nice.
I wouldn't have gone. He called me. He's like, "We're going, book it." I was like, "All right, let's go."
That's fucking sick, dude. Yeah. I forced one of my homies to come with me just so I wouldn't be alone too. Literally paid for his flight and everything just so he would like accompany me. And then I gave him a little nudge. I'll be like, "We'll go to Japan beforehand because I know you like those Asians." Honestly, we could list out a long list of all the peptides that have helped us. You guys have heard these peptides and these research chems in the podcast maybe a million times. Peptides I've used from APR such as BPC 157 and TP500 for soft tissue healing, retatrutide and other GLPs, mitochondrial support such as SS31, MOTC, 5-amino-1Q, methylene blue, SLU. There's a bunch of others. Obviously, the list goes on and on. One of my favorite things, though, that I've been utilizing, such as during my last prep, that has allowed my blood work to come basically pristine, aside from slightly elevated liver enzymes at about 60 and 130 1 week after the show. And this is after a leg day because my dumbass doesn't want to skip a training day. These are probably the things that I think are the most important. So this includes like your injectable glutathione, injectable or even just normal NAC, liposoluble glutathione, GI aids such as oral BPC, oral TB, KPV. A lot of these things have probably been very substantial in reducing oxidative stress and keeping all my blood markers down, and thus keeping me as basically healthy as fucking possible that you can be while you're bodybuilding. So I couldn't be more thankful to Mike for literally showing me the ropes and also providing me with all of these things. Even the compounded supplements that he creates for blood pressure and reducing oxidative stress on all your organs, including your cardiovascular system, your liver, and your kidneys. All of these that he creates have been very substantial, honestly. So you can find any of these at his site, aprhealthsolutions.com. And he has offered me a code Nile for you guys to use, which will offer you a 15% discount off of all of that as well. If you guys end up using those and you like him, please let me know. Shoot in a comment, just give me a DM or something. And if you ever have any problems or any questions, I'll be here too. This is a community for me, even though I don't have a fucking Discord because I'm lazy as shit, but I fucking should make one. So love you guys and keep training hard. Whatever I ate last night and yesterday is just it just increased my water weight by, I swear to God, like 4 pounds in the night. So I'm peeing everything out right now.
Tell me what you ate. I'm living vicariously through everyone else right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, mine wasn't actually, never mind. I did have Chipotle. Fucking, I just asked him for 3 big ass scoops of rice and then a scoop of chicken and a scoop of steak and then some corn.
That's
typical bodybuilder shit. No. That wasn't the only thing I had. Everything else was like planned stuff. Like I had lean ground beef and lean lamb, some salmon.
That sounds like just my like meal plan right now.
Bunch of bread and rice, sourdough bread.
You know what's hilarious? Yeah. This is really hilarious because I'm coming here and Miranda picks me up from the airport. We're driving here. I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat in front of him. She's like, no, he orders junk for me because he wants to watch me eat it. So like I've been eating like complete shit since I've got here, like 3,000 calorie breakfasts, like complete garbage. He's like, no, get it. He'll like just sit there like nothing wrong.
In-N-Out's like one of my favorites. They were all just like crushing In-N-Out, and I was like, man, in a couple weeks I'm gonna have a double. It's gonna be so nice. I think I'm gonna start making like food content on my Instagram because like I don't know, I just like enjoy watching it and people doing like rating, like, oh yeah, this is what's like, you know, somebody asks like, oh Niall, what's your like In-N-Out order? And then you like, oh, I do like this and that, and then they like go get it and eat it. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's super interesting to me right now. Maybe it'll be less interesting when I'm not dieting, but
probably.
What's the biggest meal that y'all have ever eaten?
All right. So one time I was training with my buddy and we like deadlifted heavy and then we went to In-N-Out after. And then I got 2 double-doubles, animal fry and the shake, and then like a large drink. And then we came home and I was like, man, I feel like my blood sugar is crashing. And I checked it and my blood sugar was like 40. And I was like, oh shit, I got to eat. So I just like crushed that like whole meal. And then I had like some Cocoa Puffs and a gallon of milk. And I literally crushed like half the box. My buddy was literally still on his first burger. And I'm like, he's like, I don't know how you just ate that much food. So I think that was around probably one of the bigger meals that I've eaten like in one sitting, like inadvertently. I wasn't trying to like mukbang or anything crazy. I was just like, I was just starving.
Yeah.
Me, like
Phil literally eats like 3,000 calorie fucking breakfast. He orders like a dozen donuts and like a egg bagel sandwich. And like, he does like crazy junk food.
People used to actually follow me because of the size of some of the meals that I would post. I mean, I don't know which meal was the biggest. I've done over 10,000 calories in a meal many times. So.
Look, I see some of your like
10,000 calories in a meal.
Yeah, easily.
No way, bro. That's got to be cap.
I've done this so many times. I've lost count.
He'll do these McDonald's orders and it's like 6 burgers, nuggets, a fry, like all this. I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, I can just eat this much. I'm like, Phil, I can't eat that. I'm not really a big eater. Like for me to eat big, I have to like progressively overload to eating big. Like I have to like, I'll start at just like a low amount a couple times a day. And then I'll like get like, I'll keep stacking it up. It progresses fast, but I can't just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go bang like a pizza and then go to get wings and then go to get, ice cream. Yeah. I'm just like not that big of an eater. Like, I don't think I've ever finished a Ben and Jerry's, like the pint in one sitting. Like it's just like, it's so like rich and so much like calories for me. I'm just like, I can eat like half of it, 3/4 of it. And I'm just like, as soon as I tap out, I'm tapped out. But also I'm the same way, like any meal that I'm eating, like as soon as I hit like full, I'll just like stop. I'm like, if it's 3/4 of a steak, I'm like, okay, like it just hits like, I just hit like a wall and I'm like, I'm not comfortable anymore. I'm not hungry anymore. I'm whatever. So I just stop right there. But I don't think Phil, I think I have a weird like on off switch with my hunger. Like I'm like very low hunger. Like what have I,
For
my calories are probably at like 2,000 right now. And
You haven't been hitting 2,000.
I'm like
many days.
just casual. Like I don't even care. Like I'm watching food on my Instagram because like cinnamon rolls look crazy good right now. But beyond that, I'm just like, like that looks enjoyable. And I'm like, I'm not.
So off seasons are the hardest for you.
Starving. I'm not like asking for more food. I'm not none of that. So
it's always been off seasons. Off seasons are always the hardest for you.
yeah, it's way harder for me.
Yeah, he struggles to eat sometimes, but he'll get it done. He's the type of person to just get it done if he needs to get it done. You know, it just may adversely affect him if he's like forcing it.
It's just the like progression over time. I mean, the same thing with like my strength training and bodybuilding. It's just like I set like almost like small stepping goals instead of trying to make huge leaps. And I think it's just always worked out well for me. It's funny because like pretty much anybody that's ever known me any period of time, they're like, you eat less than a bikini competitor. Like it's disgusting.
That's wild.
Like when I'm eating casually, I just will eat 2 meals a day and I'll just be like completely happy, just like eating, 900 calorie meals a day.
His body is very good at just like I said, turning on these mechanisms, but he's also, like I said, he was built for this sport. I cannot tell you the amount of times we're in the gym where I'm teaching something or I'm talking about something, but for some reason, a lot of this I can't even explain. He just tends to just get it. He might not have always known why he was doing something right, but he was always doing it right. And even like yesterday, I made an alteration to an exercise. He made the correction mid-set perfectly without trouble. Now, that's a very hard thing to do because it's not unconscious competence where you've programmed the movement. So now you just go bang that set without having to think about it. You don't want to get under a squat bar and you're sitting there thinking, keep my hips under me, keep my heels here. And you can't be thinking about those things when you're really trying to go. He can. So like he can consciously change what he's doing in order for it to be beneficial. But he also he connects with his muscles in just a weird way where he can just make this little like adjustment and target exactly what I wanted to target like instantly. So it's like, sometimes it's like funny. Like I posted a clip yesterday and I'll post more, but like, you'll catch me laughing just like, how the hell did you just get that so quickly? Like taking me an hour to teach that to people. And it's just, he just seems to get it. His muscles connect. He's very strong. He's deadlifted like 700 many times, repping 400 on incline, barbell. Like he's, very, very strong, but buries 500 squats, like deep. Like he just gets it with training,
Yeah. Except that bro can't eat.
But the thing is, it works, So like arguably,
I feel like a lot of people run into this issue, bro. I think this is common.
Not being
I
able
think
to
that's
eat.
why it's going to be super helpful.
Well,
you said you eat
actually-
6,000. You said you eat 6,000 calories, right, in the off season.
Well, here's one you'll like though. We did use Masteron for a little bit. So Masteron is a medication they give to cancer patients, which increases appetite so that they can eat during the chemo. So we actually gave him a chemo medication to increase his appetite. And it worked for a good period of time. Now, that's not something I generally recommend people do, but that's like one of the odd things that I've done with him that I don't do with other people. I think he's the only person I've ever done that with, but it worked out very well.
What else does Masteron do? Like, what is its main purpose and function? Is it just simply to increase appetite?
Pregnenolone or prognenolone or something like it's some hormone.
I'm honestly not sure. We haven't done it in a while. This is like years ago.
Did push size on this last time.
Yeah, but like I had read into it back then, and at this point was kind of like just like put it in. We know it works. So I'm going to be honest. I don't remember the exact mechanisms. I used to know it. I don't know it right now. I just know that it worked in the past. I made sure I dug into it, made sure it was safe, understood everything. I know that there's side effects, but we mitigated those. But at this point, we just put it in the same way because I know it works.
I think I just get a little water retention from it. I don't really notice any negatives from it.
I wouldn't even say a lot, just like a little.
Some of the things I did in this specific last off season that I know like really helped. I started adding sauerkraut to like literally every single one of my meals. I just have like I buy the one from Costco that were like organic whatever, and like I'll be eating like steak or whatever, and I'll just like take a few forkfuls out with each bite. And I actually really like the flavor of sauerkraut, so it's not hard. But I think that has like rebuilt my gut biome because like, if I'm being honest, before, like I would in the off seasons before, I've had, like really loose stools, like probably 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. Like if I had a nice stool, I was like, oh, like thank God, like finally. So, but like literally after I started doing that, just in this previous 4 or 5 months, like I haven't had a loose stool in 5 months. Like it's been, other than when I was sick, I had like a couple, but I think that might have been from when I was taking too much zinc. But like literally, I'm just like, oh, everything's like working better. Maybe it's like the extra fiber and the.
Well, there's a good story about this because his digestion, again, like I said, is very sensitive. So we can't force it. And this is actually a cool story. When I turned him pro in 2018 at USA, we had gotten there, but he had an infection week out. So we had to take antibiotics, destroyed his microbiome, obviously. So it was very, very hard to peak him. And then the person that he was with at the time mistakenly bought something that was high in gluten that really wrecked him. He couldn't stand up for prejudging. Like we weren't going to get to the show. Luckily, at the time, the person that I was with at the time was a GI nurse. She literally laid him down, moved it through his intestinal tract, got everything out. He gets up and wins.
Dude, I was like, she was pushing gas through my GI.
I didn't know you could do that.
Like blowing out.
Yeah, no, you can do that.
Can I teach my girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend, but can I teach?
You gotta. I mean, she was a GI nurse, so she did it for like a living. She knew how to do it. So like probably the only thing good that came out of ever dating her was his pro card.
Dude, my peak for my pro card was like so crazy. I also at the same time I had some kind of like ear thing. I was like, I can't hear anything out of my left ear. And it turned out that I was just like a ton of wax. So they had to go get one of those like DeBrock kits and like wax cleaning kit literally in my hotel room before we like went to like prejudging.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was a rough.
So his digestion's very sensitive. So we've got to be careful with this. So the same thing on the peak that we're going to do is we're going to be careful. We're going to draw it out a little bit longer. We're going to be a little safer. We're going to give us an extra day of padding just in case we have to combat anything, pull back, do anything, just to be safe, right? Because you can always slow things down, but if you run out of time, you're screwed.
I mean, to be fair, last time we did this, we'd been working together for 3 months, 4 months. There was the beginning of our, time together. And
how long ago was this?
2018.
Damn. All right. That's so sick.
And
though.
then, I mean,
8 years together.
Phil's knowledge from that
fucking
time
beautiful.
has jumped by leaps and bounds, like at that time, people were having you carb up on potatoes, and now it's just like eat the same foods you were eating before. Like don't carb up on weird shit.
I know his body. I know his body so well. I can peek him in my sleep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
that's a beautiful.
Not a concern.
That's the beauty of working with someone for like a long time like this. He's seen me go up. He's seen me come down. We've done health phases. We've done this and that. I do blood work just constantly. And so he has like, I literally did it today. I did the rhythm health blood work.
Nice.
And
how do you like that, by the way?
I think for a bodybuilder, it's a little bit of a waste because it doesn't have an extra sensitive estradiol. So if you're taking nandrolone or tren, it's going to show that your estradiol is just like off the fucking charts. And then if you're doing TRT, I think it's fantastic. I like some of the other markers. They just added some good ones. They added a GGT, a ALT, AST. They have a CRP. So the nice ones, they have like an ApoB and stuff like that. So there's like a lot of good markers, but there's also for bodybuilders, there's a lot of holes in it for stuff that they didn't have prior that they just added. They just added hematocrit hemoglobin in the last month. So it's nice because they send it to your house. It takes 5 minutes. You drop it in the mail. You get your test results 3 days later. It's $97 a month. So it's like, those are nice things. But like, since I've been on prep, I've been like going and buying extra tests from Algo RX to get in the ones that I like wanted that they weren't giving me, that I needed, like the estradiol.
And for all the viewers that are like wondering with the terminology, Luke is extremely intelligent. He went to school for, was it biochem or chem? Just chemistry. So like he's extremely intelligent. So like we get to have these really good conversations where I don't have to dumb anything down and we could just speak the terminology. And we always joked around that we could record our conversations and sell them. Like we had some really good conversations, but he's really intelligent. So it makes it easy to work with him because he just understands everything. But also I know that if he makes a judgment call, it was for a good reason. So I'm always like right away, like open to considering what he said. Almost every time he's right. So like I'm good with it. It takes stress off of me. It makes me comfortable. I feel happy. And we have this really good dynamic. So like Luke is one of my best friends. So like this is why I'm staying here with him for the last 3 weeks up to the show. I would not do this for anybody else. But like I know his body. It's been nothing but pleasure. We had nothing but fun, but everything is working. And just every single call is just easy and every single thing works.
Yeah. Phil's just here to be your hype man.
I was like, I was nervous he wasn't going to come out because I've been trying to get him to come. This is the first time he's been to California. I was trying to get him to come out for years. You know, he said he was going to come and do your podcast. I was like, stay with me. Like I can show you around. We can go to all my favorite spots and stuff. And then, you know, I was like, all right, I'm afraid I'm going to ask him. And then I told him, I was like, well, we got a bunch of dogs. So he's like, oh, okay, all right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I was really thankful
I'm glad you're
because I mean, it's been great. He's been doing these last cardio, getting my steps in. We go on like these, you know, hour-long walks every day. And it's just, the conversations and stuff. And then he's like, takes me in. He's like, all right, you got to pose. And he's like making me hold my, you know, 3 count, 5 count, 7 counts and stuff like that. So he's definitely pushing me in the ways that I maybe might not do myself, but also it just gives you like, you know, someone's there with you. Your coach is there with you, like pushing you through. Actually, last time I was on prep, Garrett Quella was living with me and, he like kind of was doing the same thing. We were going to the gym together. He drove me to USA's, and he like stayed with me and stuff. So excuse me. But
yeah.
That's a game changer for competing when you have like a support system like that.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I wanted to ask about Rhythm is I have one in my bag right now because I want to experiment with it. Optimize was reaching out to them because we're considering having them on as an option for people to have. That's the HRT clinic I'm with. But I have heard what you have said before. So I feel like for people that aren't actually in like a bodybuilding prep or in a bodybuilding off season, it wouldn't be the most optimal in my opinion.
They don't have a cystatin C. They just have a creatinine, which obviously for us is pretty much useless. They did add those several tests that kind of make it pretty good. So
yeah, I have noticed they've added quite a bit in the last couple months.
So it's nice. One of those that I almost canceled it, and then they sent the email literally like the day I was going to cancel it. They like sent that email, and I was like, all right, I'll keep it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like just like it's so cheap. It's $97. I'm like, you know, screw it. And then I can keep and then it's like it's great because it's like you create a log, a monthly log of like, oh, that's what my LDL is doing according to, you know, how I'm eating, or that's what it's doing according to how I'm training or something like that. So I think that it does have a lot of utility in being able to like micro check stuff where people often check stuff, every 4 to 6 months or something like that. So it's like with a snapshot so small, like your program is vastly different from now, you know?
So since we're all such fucking geniuses, I think we should talk a little bit some more theory. But what is the best off season that you guys have ever had together?
Ooh, that's some good ones.
Yeah, I mean,
he just grows so damn fast and gets strong. And sometimes I'll get nervous and pull him off certain lifts because I'm like, I don't want you to get any stronger. Like, I don't want you playing with that weight, you know, because we're thinking.
You gotta stop saying these things, man, because none of us have experienced this before.
I would say, I mean, my personal best off season when I actually like gained my best was actually right before we started working together. I got hit by a car on my motorcycle in December 5th, actually. And then spent all of December healing. And then right after Christmas, I was like, all right, it's time to just get back to work. And then right after that, I was like paying attention to like a lot of stand efforting stuff and vertical diet and stuff like that. So I just started crushing steaks. Like literally I would wake up at like 6 a.m. I'd make 2 New York steaks. They're like 14, 16 ounce New Yorks. I would make 5 cups of rice, crush the first one, get back in bed, sleep 3 hours, crush the second one. I would go a couple hours. I would go get like this huge pokey like bowl. They just made these like 4 or 5 cups of rice and they would just pack it with a ton of stuff. I would eat that for my pre-workout and then I would just kind of do like In-N-Out or something for dinner. So I was just like so much food. And then
It's a lot of fats, man.
it was the
Do you happen
first
to have an
time I
idea of
ever
how much
took-
fats?
What's that?
That's a lot of fats. Do you have any idea of how many
I grow
fats?
super well on fats. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have an idea of approximately how many fats you could normally consuming in your off season? Like
I
with
would say
those
over
couple
200.
ribeyes and shit?
Over
How much?
200 grams.
Over 200. Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. That's fucking nice. Okay.
There's another thing about him is, and this may be a key factor, is that he can sleep a lot and he needs a lot of sleep. I actually, when we first started working together, he was like, no, I need to sleep. I need this, I need that. And I'm like, no, we need this, we need that. And then kind of like had adverse response. So then he sleeps more. All of a sudden it turns around. I'm like, oh shit, I guess you do need that much sleep.
Yeah, we were actually at USA's and he was like, I'm gonna have you up every hour. And with the first night he came to USA's, he was like getting me up. I was posing, whatever, and he's like, I guess I wasn't like responding the way you wanted. And then the next night I was like, Phil, like I just got to sleep tonight. I slept that night. I woke up at like 4 a.m. I came out.
To be clear, I wasn't waking him up through the night. I was posing during the day.
He was like, we went and posed, and then he was like, holy shit. He's like, you would look like night and day different after getting like a long stretch of sleep.
Even right now, I would say he's probably getting 10 hours total.
A day. Right now I'm doing good because I'm a little bit lighter and my sleep apnea is not bugging. Yeah, I'm probably getting maybe not that much, but like
I would say you're close because I know when you go to bed and I know when you get up, so it's close. So he was sleeping a lot right now, and even more in the off season, and he just grows. I think that might be one of the factors that we're not considering is the fact that sleep plays a major factor. I mean, we grow when we're sleeping, right? We recover when we're sleeping.
yeah, we got to
I think that's one of the biggest factors, man. People that I've seen grow the most are the ones that care the most about their recovery and are also the most chill dudes. Like Terrence Ruffin and fucking Jordan Hutchinson in this last year or so.
They're so
Jordan and Chris's like biggest focus was everything on just like recovery. If I'm going to be training hard, I need to make sure I'm recovering by the next training session.
Yeah.
And for me too, my recovery or my sleep needs go up also whenever I'm training like this and I'm eating like this. And I have to sleep. I have to be in bed for like 10 hours at least as well, which
And it
is
makes a
fucking
difference.
annoying, man. It's fucking annoying, but
we can have to kind of talk about so some of the things going into this next off season, because I'm going to try to I have a CPAP. I've used it on and off, but Brian just came up and trained with us this last week, and I was like telling him, I was like, I can't use it. It feels like I'm like drowning. Like I like can't breathe against it. He's like, it's supposed to like turn off when you're breathing out and stuff. So he like changed my settings and I put it on and like it was like so much better. So I'm going to start getting back into using my CPAP. So I think when I go back heavy, I'm going to do that. But one of the game changers for me that I learned maybe a year or two ago was Trazodone. Like for some reason, Trazodone, it's just helped me. Like I remember like when I first started taking it, I was having like real bad sleep apnea. And it like lowered my sleep apnea significantly just by taking that, not even doing like anything else. I mess with mouth tape here and there, but like just doing that. And I knew that it did because like I was pissing. I would wake up in the morning and I would piss like a gallon. And I was like, oh, I'm not waking up 10 times a night to take a piss because like my sleep apnea wake me up. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm going to take a piss.
That's me right now, man.
Yeah.
I woke up 4 times last night.
Yeah. You probably got, maybe it's not sleep apnea. Maybe your body's just like, you know, maybe you're getting acid reflux because you're not comfortable, like it's waking you up or whatever. But if you're pissing a lot, I almost guarantee you got sleep apnea.
And it's weird. It's weird how much he can sleep because we're actually on a decent dose of Tren. But Tren does not affect him adversely like it does a lot of other people. It does not affect his sleep whatsoever. It does not make him crazy, irritable, and angry.
Well, we can talk about that too.
But he'll respond to like, we got up to a decent dose, but I can give him 15 milligrams a day and he responds like somebody else responds to 100.
So before we go into that, if you don't mind me asking, what is the PED stack that you were running these off seasons?
So the one I was telling you about, my best ever, which was 2018, was 600 test and 900 primo. And I still feel like that's probably one of the best ever. After that, I've kind of inched up my test to 825. I'll do like a half a cc a day, which I think is 825. And then I backed down the primo a little bit to like 700 just because I'm like, prior I had 150 milligram primo. So it was easier to run that higher dose because I would just run like a a cc or 3/4 of a cc a day. And now I just have 100 milligram Primo available. So like I have to run 9 cc's a week, where I'm just like, the fucking injection volume just so right there in that, between 600 and 800 tests, 700 and 900 Primo is like my real sweet spot for growing.
And he also does
Okay.
his shots every single day.
Yeah.
He prefers it that way. I think that it's probably optimal that way, but it's not realistic for everybody to do. A lot of people
Yeah.
want to do that, but he's willing to do that. He's very, very good and meticulous with taking care of it. They ultrasound his like areas that he injects, make sure there's no scar tissue, breaks it up. You could tell him a little bit more about that. That's actually been
It's kind of been a game changer, this prep, because we bought a gym, my girlfriend and I, and it had like a massage studio in it. And one of the things that they had was this ultrasound like device, those like little, I don't even know what you would call it. It's just like an ultrasound like thing that like a physical therapy places use.
Mhm.
And so like I shoot like biceps, triceps, lateral, long head, medial delts, rear delts, lats.
God,
And
your
like
arms look fucking nuts right now, dude.
I get
Jesus Christ.
the divot between his fucking shoulder and tricep. It's like 3 inches deep. You could pour water down it, not spill.
So obviously you get some PIP, no matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna get some, especially when you're, going that many injections. So we started ultrasounding them, and it just breaks up the tissue to get more blood in
Wow.
there. And like it's been like kind of a game changer for being able to do, because right now my total injection volume is like 2.5 to 2.8 this whole prep cc's per day. So I'm breaking that down into insulin syringes. So it's like 0.8 to 0.6 to 0.8 cc's per insulin syringe. So I have to put like 4 locations, around my body to do that. So just stacking injection sites because of that, because doing the everyday injections has been difficult without having that extra like modality to try to like keep me going.
How can we get that? Asking for a friend.
I think you can order them on Amazon. We actually looked because we were talking about leaving this one at the gym and then getting one for our house. So this one is like a really expensive one. It's maybe like $1,000 or something like that. But they had
Damn.
like cheaper looking ones on Amazon for like 165, 170. So we were thinking about maybe trying that one out. So there's some
So
stuff
like
you got
half
to
a
know
month's
about.
worth of GH.
What's that?
So like half a month's worth of GH.
Yeah. There's some stuff you got to know about it though, because like if you're doing it on a location, you have to like continually be moving, because the ultrasound can actually like burn through your muscle tissue. So if you just like put it on it and like run it, then it will actually like dig a hole through like whatever tissue it's on. So yeah, you have to like that, the stuff that they use to like the jelly that they use to like look at the babies and stuff. You have to get some of that, and you do that. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting. You can't feel it a whole lot, but you can hear it. You can hear the like sound vibration. Sounds like a zinging sound.
Yeah.
So
How do you
that's
use it?
kind
Like do you just like how long after you injected that area? Like do you rotate it? Like
usually
what
like,
body parts do you do
so
each day?
it's like 3 minutes per spot that we've been doing. We started at a minute, and then the machine goes up to like 3 minutes. So we just like maxed it out. And we do pretty much every injection site like every day. Just like, even if there's no pain or no PIP there, we've been hitting the spots anyways, just to kind of
Okay.
give it like almost like a massage kind of thing. So we just been doing it almost maybe as like overkill, but just to, you got to do a lot of stuff during prep. So, and it takes like, if we do, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's like 15 injection sites that I do. So that's like times 3 minutes, it's like 45 minutes to do them all. So
Wait, 15 injection sites. Tell us the injection sites. Holy shit.
He just named them previously. Yeah,
biceps, lateral head, triceps, inner head, rear delts, medial delts, lats, and glutes.
Oh, but on each, okay. That makes sense then. Okay. Damn, fuck, bro.
Well, again, like I said, my co-coach, I couldn't do this without her, because she does that. She's actually certified Graston deep tissue. Like he's got like the best support you could possibly think of over here.
Like, how the fuck are you injecting your biceps and each of your tricep heads? Like, that's.
I mean, I had
that fucking big.
Well, he uses insulin pens.
Yeah, insulin pens.
But with almost 3 cc's?
No, you start low. Like
Okay.
I started out like injecting my arms with 1/4 of a cc per side. And then, so that's like a 1/2 a cc that I was doing at that time. Now I'm like up to where I can do 0.8, but you know, sometimes it's not comfortable. So I wouldn't do it if it was like, it's not like doing synthol or anything like that, because it's not changing the like size or shape or anything, but it's just like a big enough muscle that you can put like, you know, 1/2 a cc.
I mean, for you, bro.
Yeah, like based on the way you asked the question, I think you were assuming like he was doing 3 cc's in a spot. He doesn't do over a cc in any location.
Oh, in any location.
Yeah, no. What
So
like
you're like taking that full volume that you're doing that day and you're
Spreading it
splitting it
out.
up.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Huh.
Maybe
That's
that's
cool.
actually a good thing, because it's like more surface area.
I'm considering that might be better.
Yeah.
I actually
I feel like
do
it would be too. It's just like
because
tedious.
I do it for the same reason that I do everyday injections. I don't like doing big shots. Like when I was younger, I would do a 3 cc shot in my glute, and it would freaking, it's a ton of volume, I feel like, in that muscle. So I don't like putting a lot, and I don't like putting it in one spot. So I just like break it up into smaller shots, and I, you know, put it around the body.
And because of that, it
Okay.
doesn't impede muscular contraction whatsoever. But
Yeah.
again, he's strategic with this. And we were talking about this yesterday. So like, you know, you get PIP in body parts and you don't want to impede muscular contraction and affect your performance in the gym. But he'll do that body part the day after he's trained it. So like he'll do glutes the day after legs. He'll do biceps the day after back or biceps. He'll do shoulders the day after shoulders, because then it has time to dissipate before the next workout rolls around, and that oil doesn't affect anything.
Okay, gotcha. Is there any other PED that you used in any of your off seasons aside from Test and Primo?
I mean, I messed around here and there. I would throw in, like, we did NPP and didn't really like it.
Orals don't agree with them very well.
Orals, I can run them for about 2 weeks, and then my appetite just goes to 0.
Yeah, I would imagine with your
I don't
gut
really
issues.
do
Yeah.
with them. If I do an oral, it's kind of just like twice a week, maybe on like leg day or back day, to kind of get like an extra push. But like, that's the only time that I would do orals. EQ, I can remember maybe in the last 8 years doing it once. Tren, the last 8 years, maybe this is like the second time in 8 years. But other than that, it's just been Test and Primo.
Okay. You never used IGF-1?
I think maybe when I was like 24 years old, I
Yeah, with an
from a research site, but I didn't really see anything from it.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was kind of maybe a scam at that time. And I kind of just got a bad like taste in my mouth for IGF-1. So
I have
I
a
see.
very much positive with IGF-1 or LR3, DES, or any of the variants with almost anyone. A lot of people like to swear by Increlex and things like that, but I've seen people who have used it who are not genetic monsters, who are not on high doses of pharma GH, and it didn't have the same effect that people claim. So I think it's one of those like fallacies that people like wish worked. Like everybody that like is in bodybuilding, they always think that like these pros have this secret drug that nobody else has, and that's going to be the reason why if I finally get my hands on it, I'm going to look like them. And it's not the case. There's no magical drug that you're going to take that's going to make any major difference in what you're already doing, except maybe hammering high doses of pharma GH. But like I've seen numerous people use Increlex, and the people that were on high doses of GH, I didn't see a lot at all.
Okay. I like to believe that pharma IGF-1 makes a difference because I like steroids and I don't like blaming all my leg gains on training.
A lot of people placebo themselves. And you know what? I'm a big believer. And if somebody believes it, okay, yes, you're right. It works.
Yeah.
As someone that's a
My
hyper
ego.
responder to pretty much every drug there is, the things that work are you find the drugs that you like and kind of just keep running those, and then just progressively overload your consistently and progressively overload. Just get stronger, get bigger, you know, better muscle contractions, eat consistently, recover consistently. You know, I think that that's like the real like secret behind what you see with like Jordan Hutchinson when he won USA's until now. He's like a different person. I think he just doesn't like, he doesn't do anything. I don't think he misses a macro. I don't think he misses I bet he like tracks every workout, every lift. You know, I think it's just like consistency over time is what builds a good bodybuilder.
Yeah. He's very on top of everything, which is super cool to watch.
Are you with Tuttle now?
No, I'm not with anyone right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you were with Patrick for a long time, but
yeah,
you were saying you were like using one of Tuttle's kind of methods. I didn't know if you were working with him.
Mm-hmm. I messaged Patrick like a month or a month and a half ago, just updating him about my move to Vegas and then all the shit going on with my life. And I ran into some gut health issues recently, so I had to change things up and be very like variable with what I'm doing. And I'm like, honestly, I want to be on top of my shit when I join Patrick. Plus, I'm doing a lot right now. So realistically, because of the way Patrick is, I want to make sure I'm being able to be perfect with him. You know what I mean? Just because he's so fucking strict. So I have been talking to Austin Stout just to get my gut health back in check first.
Yeah.
Get everything back in order. But
you want to?
Yeah, I want to experiment myself.
I'm
and
curious
it's really
what you're like. Maybe I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I'm curious what like maybe you were having an issue with. Was it just like GI distress, and then you kind of like are fixing it with?
It was the exact same thing as you, where I upped my food volume a little bit too quick, I think, and then the meals just started stacking up my gut. And then I was falling asleep, and I was like, I was fucking Dutch ovening myself, and like my stomach was protruding while I was asleep, and then I was waking up from my own farts and shit. It was pretty tough. But
yeah, did you do like a fecal test or anything like that to see if you had just like some gut dysbiosis or?
Yeah, I had a potential. Austin and I were discussing the potential for that. I did do the test, but
like 500. I've done it before, but it's like $500.
Yeah, I just did a lot of protocols that I felt like would benefit, including reducing my food volume significantly, and then also just not being dumb and not eating so much before bed. Also reducing my cyclic dextrin intake because that was way too high than it should have been, and then doing a bunch of other things like oral BPCT, PKPV, making sure I'm getting an excess amount of glutamine fasted, colostrum in the mornings fasted.
You do
walking 10 minutes after every single meal. Just did a bunch of different shit, and my gut's a lot better now, but it's still going to be something that I think I need to continuously do to get this health back in check, like up to 100%.
I totally agree, because it's pretty miserable when you got acid reflux and you got, watery shits and you got all that. Do you use kimchi or sauerkraut or either of those?
I just bought some kombucha that just delivered.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm about to implement that. We'll see how it goes.
It's funny because like I started using it before I saw that Tuttle podcast, because Tuttle was saying that he had like they diagnosed him with being like colitis, and he was like shitting blood and stuff like that. And he said he basically thinks he fixed it with just using sauerkraut.
Yeah, yeah. And he loves implementing just natural fermented foods in all his clients' diets, which I love, because everybody I've heard of that has done that has told me that it's just helped so much.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any bad
It's been a real
anecdotes.
game changer for me. I think that I think pulling back my food variety, because like I know gluten doesn't do good for me, and I was eating, pick up a burrito, go pick up a burger, this or that. So like that's one that I know that I get really gassy when I eat, stuff with flour in it. So as much as I love it, if I want to do this like bodybuilding thing kind of like at a high level, I need to kind of make that decision to do that. And then, just like we were saying before, because I did a lot of the things like the oral BPC and TB, oral BPC. And then did you bring me?
I brought it.
Oh yeah, he brought me KPV and stuff like that. So
nice,
I brought my arsenal with me. Like every single time, like every time it's not time to eat something, I'm like, I brought it. I've got it.
Hell yeah.
I brought my prescription fish oil that I have. I added that in. I added in Visbiome, which is a basically prescription grade probiotic that was invented for GI distress, colitis, IBS, things like that. So that's patented. It's very important. So I have that in. He's got BBC, KPV. He's got.
Do you ever get like acid reflux? Is that an issue for you as well?
I do sometimes, but it's not really that bad. It's more of just the gut motility and it just turning into a fucking rock in there.
Yeah.
And then obviously because it's so slow in there, gas starts and it just gets worse.
You know what? I stopped eating vegetables. I know this is going to sound kind of crazy. I stopped eating vegetables. I get most of my fiber through fruit. And I feel like that really helped me as well. For some reason, I don't know if it's like the oxalates or like whatever in vegetables, but like greens just did not sit too. I love them. Like I love to go, we go out to a nice steakhouse and get like a salad or whatever. It tastes great, but it does not make me feel good.
I'm kind of the same way as you, and where I'm consuming a copious amount of fruits every single day. Blueberries, pineapples, apples, bananas, mangoes. And I have just like throughout the entire day. But vegetables wise, like the only thing I consume is a greens powder and some spinach.
Yeah.
Like I leave it at that.
That's pretty much almost identical. Like I go back and forth with spinach because I make this really bomb, like homemade kind of salad that I love to eat. So, and that seems to sit okay if I don't do it too often. But if I try to like do a daily greens, like with every meal, I find that I get like this, my body kind of like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Damn. Yeah.
So, and I think that just kind of like speaks to, because like there's some people that are just like, yeah, if I don't eat greens, I get backed up, I get whatever. So that just speaks to like the biodiversity between people.
Yeah. Speaking of biodiversity, I have a question for you. So it's whenever I consume an excess of any type of carb, no matter what it is, I start running into big issues. It's more of like both a compilation of like high protein and high carb. And I just run into some max issues.
Have you kept your blood glucose in those instances?
In instances when my guts.
You said you're running into issues, right?
It's like the gut issues, yeah.
Oh, gut issues. Okay. So how do you notice a change in your energy, your mental state?
What you were saying
Earlier. That's why
what you're saying about the blood sugar might be legit, because Larry, like he has colitis, he has colon removed, but if he says if he eats like a certain way, certain like amounts of carbs, doesn't have certain things in, he gets like a huge flare up. So
yeah, it could be related. But I was wondering, because I was curious if yours was like, I don't know, because you said you needed to have carbs in every single meal. So I felt like you would be different.
I mean, it might just be like a mental satiety thing, but it might also be somehow my body's just like letting me know that I'm just like, it's like, I think the signals from your brain that tells you like, hey, like if you're craving something, it might be craving it because you're not getting it in your diet. Your body's like, you need some fats, bro. Like you're like deficient in, fats, or maybe like you're like craving steak and maybe you're deficient in iron or something like that. So your body kind of like tells you, you have to like be, you have to be pragmatic with it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm craving donuts and like I gotta get it up there. But within reason, if you're like, man, every time I eat this thing, I feel like that I do this better and I do better. So you kind of gotta like create your own passport for your body.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say, is like my passport for my body. The two things I've noticed is I have a limit to how low my fats can be, and I have a limit to how high my carbs can be, but not vice versa. It's very interesting.
I think it could be circumstantial, right? So I think that if you weren't just previously sick and on such low calorie intake, that you would have been able to eat the lean meats without the carbohydrates and not have as much of an issue. But your body's asking for calories, and you can't eat that volume of meat. So like your body wants calories, and your body will recognize patterns that you don't necessarily consciously recognize. So like your body will make you crave things and make you want things that it wants based on your microbiome sending that signaling and whatnot. So a lot of times, like we have a craving for something, we don't know why, but our body is telling us we need that, we want that, right? So a lot of times this could be an unconscious thing. It could be circumstantial. So there's a lot of diversity to this, what this question actually is. And I don't think there is one single answer.
To be fair, though, when I was having the worst of it, my nose was completely stuffed. So I'm literally just mouth breathing, trying to like eat a piece of like steak when I'm like trying to chew steak and get it down. My body was just like, bro, stop this.
What was your training like in the off seasons that you grew the most? How much volume were you doing per muscle group?
Say it again.
How much volume were you doing per muscle group? And what were you able to say?
I'm like a 2 to 3 sets kind of guy for working sets, mostly 2 like top sets.
He's not high volume.
I take stuff to like very like close to failure. If anything, maybe only don't take things to failure where it could be dangerous. Like say I'm hack squatting and I'm going to get like pinned under 7 plates or something, then I kind of don't take that to failure. But like everything that's like machine based. I go pretty much to where I'm at failure. And then like, there's some things where like, just because say we have this like leverage, like a converging chest press, and like I'll go as far as I can where I'm like getting full lockout. And then like, that just means that my triceps reached failure, not that my pecs reached failure. So I'll like get a few more reps here.
I mean, got it instinctually.
I could maybe get 5 more reps where I'm getting like shortening of the pec, but I'm not like going to a full rep. So I do like stuff like that to kind of like take the sets to failure with it.
And this is an instinctual thing that he's realized. And, I'd actually explain like the science behind it, but I notice he's doing it. And I'm like, and so, but anybody notice him doing something, I'll say, why did you do that? Because like, for example, the other day we were training lax. He had this finger very lightly on the bar because of where the displacement on the hand is going to play a part in where everything is targeted. So I'm like, did you do that on purpose? He's like it felt right. So then I explained to him why it was right. So for example, when people are doing a converging chest press, right? When does the muscle become weakest? When it's shortest, right? It becomes deactivated. And this is why like everybody hates those hammer strength incline, because as you're getting up, you're getting weaker and weaker and weaker on your chest. So it becomes more and more triceps. It feels like it's all tricep at the top. So he instinctually will, when he can't do any more full reps, just pump the partials because he knows my chest is still not exhausted. I just can't do full reps because of the tricep limitation and because of the mechanics of the exercise. So he just instinctually picks that up. But the thing about his volume is he doesn't do high volume because he has a very high neural drive. He can bring everything into the set very, very quickly. For a lot of people, it takes a number of reps into the set to get all of their effective motor units into the set. And this is why like the whole reps in reserve thing has gone too far, especially for the younger kids, because you don't have that neural drive to get all your motor units involved in this set enough to make it effective to have reps in reserve. You need failure to force all of those motor units to get engaged so that you're activating all of your muscle, all of your fibers, and getting true stimulus. Whereas somebody like he and I can get that to get our motor units involved by rep 2, where everybody else, they have to hit failure. So all these younger, newer kids, you should not be training reps in reserve. It's stupid, it's idiotic, and it scientifically, if you're claiming you're science-based, does not work. Not for you until you can get your neural drive higher. But he can get his neural drive in higher so he does less sets. When we first started working together, he was working out with his training partner, was it Garrett? And Garrett was, trying to be a good friend. So he was reporting back to me and he's like, I'm trying to push Luke. And I'm telling him like, let's keep going. And he's like, no, I'm done. And I had to say to him, no, Luke's actually right. If you can't do anything further to push your performance and you're far below what your capabilities are, that's junk volume. There's no stimulus there. All you're doing is digging a deeper hole with no additional stimulus. So I had to say like, no, Luke's actually right. He instinctually knows like, I can't do anything more beneficial. I'm done. Let's go home and recover.
Yeah. That's a clip right there, by the way.
Phil,
can you move the mic closer to the middle of your shirt?
Yes,
Mike,
sir.
Phil?
I got you.
Phil, he trained with Big Ramy years ago. This was probably like 2017, 2016.
2015.
And he said that he was doing legs with Ramy, and Ramy was doing like leg extensions, and it was like 100 pounds. It's like something that like, Ramy's got massive legs, and he got off, and Ramy's in like wincing pain, and he's like, does that hurt? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's like cramping.
He's hyper connected to the muscles.
Yeah. So it kind of like, that's when Phil kind of like put it together that like, oh, not everyone like activates the same way, because Phil was working out with him doing like, this is not even a warm up for Phil.
I got there on the first day, and I got there in the middle of his dad brought me in for like 2 days. I was potentially going to coach Ramy, but the people that paid for him picked somebody else. So, but I spent 2 days with him, but I got there on the first day and he was training chest, and I saw him, and I remember 135 on incline. And he's a big guy. He's making these faces on like the first few reps. And I'm like it's clicking in my head. And then but he goes up to 4 plates, like he's strong. So then we end up doing other body parts. We start doing legs. And we're on hack squats. 1 plate. He's making faces on the second rep. Mind you, we go up to 7, 8 plates. So like it's occurring to me that the connectivity is a big factor. And he just happened to be hyper connected to every muscle group. And I noticed like the more connective somebody is to a muscle group, the more responsive it is. I only have 1 muscle group on my body that like I really intensely feel. And it's my shoulders. So like I'd be resting on equipment between, say, it felt like a burn, like in between sets the whole way through. And he's the same way. He connects to all of his body parts where you could see on his warm up, he's feeling pain, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, remember I made a
Anyone can.
Sorry.
I was
I
gonna say anyone can.
made a video and I think I'm hammer curling or something. And I like set him down and I'm like, oh, and Phil like commented on the video and he's like, I've never felt my arms hurt that bad after a set of curls. He's like, that's why your arms are like as big as they are, because like the way that you like connect with them
Connected.
through the set, like you're really creating that much like neural drive to get the contraction. He's like, I don't have that like neural ability to do that.
And this is another
That's
reason
dope.
for all you young kids watching this, that you need to do your volume when you're young, because you're developing your peripheral nervous system. You're developing the activity there. You're developing the functionality there. You're programming motor unit recruitment patterns, but you're developing it. You're still growing. You're still maturing. You need to do your volume. I would even argue do excessive volume, because the more you develop your connectivity to the area, the more responsive it's going to be. This is why the body parts we love to train grow the most, and the ones we hate to train don't, because we don't do half the work and half the volume and half the effort, but we're putting all the effort into the ones we love. So if you are young and you really want to get good at this, do your volume. I would even argue do excessive volume, because even if you're overtraining, you're increasing the activity to the area, the body will adapt, the body will mature those systems. And then eventually you will be more connected to those areas, and those areas will respond better.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can always work to improve yourself and adapt, but initially, whatever is most natural and easy for you to connect to is so genetic, man. Yeah. Me, for example, lats are super easy and have always been super easy for me. Rhomboids and mid back has always been really tough. I have to
when you do
almost
lats,
overthink about the whole scapular retraction.
When you do lats, you probably feel it on the first rep, don't you? Like, instantly. Like you connect, like you could feel
after
every
warming up,
contracting, and it starts. You could probably do 50 pounds on the stack, and it starts burning, right, with like no weight. It's like you could literally use no weight and really contract it, and really like feel that muscle working, feel the burning, feel it working. Whereas another muscle group, you might put like twice the effort in, and you don't feel anything.
Yeah, I can feel it with less weight for sure. Mm-hmm.
So it's a connectivity thing.
So I don't know if do you want to hear more about training style with me?
I've been training for over 15 years now, and I was too lazy to track anything training wise for about the first 10 years because science-based training's for pussies. But I kept hitting plateaus from burnout, fatigue, joint issues, and injuries, and other factors that at the time I didn't really fully understand, realizing not everyone is built to handle the intense and same workload and injury resilience as Tom Platz and Ronnie Coleman, sad face. I wanted to speed run that shit, but the reality is dudes that have always known their body best are the ones that have been lifting for at least a decade. Shit takes a long ass time to figure out. I started tracking all my training on the Notes app on iPhone because I don't know what paper is. Until recently, I started using the RP Hypertrophy app. The RP Hypertrophy app spoon feeds you step-by-step workouts tailored towards whatever your focus is, or you can customize the workout yourself. Well-educated coaches have always cost $250 to $500 or more a month. I'm paying $500. That's like 10 bottles of testosterone. But if you're not competing or you don't have the money to spend, the app will adjust your program for you every week to maximize your long-term growth. It'll base this on your pump, how fatigued you feel, how your joints feel, and more. It takes in everything to account. None of which I took into account in college because the only accounting I did was counting how many dumpies were in my class. Look, there's a titty. If you don't believe in science-based training, you don't got to do no 3 RIR shit. You can just hoist heavy steel. And track it, because we all know that the people who say that they remember their weights, sets, and reps every week are full of shit. IMO, there's a sort of middle ground where you track your progress and make sure all the variables are right in your food, sleep, gear, progressive overload, and then you go to the gym and slam those heavy PRs until your blood pressure is higher than Miley Cyrus. If you're still unsure, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you still don't like it and it gives you a bad tan, you can get your money back. That way, when you compete at your next show, your tan doesn't cost you the first place that you so well deserve. So go to the link in the description below, or you go to rpstrength.com/Nile and use code Nile at checkout. That's rpstrength.com/Nile, code Nile at checkout.
I just noticed I like the placement of that tattoo.
Which one?
You're always going to look like you have cap delts no matter how big you are.
This
Outline,
one?
no, the other side outlines the separation between your arms.
You do that on purpose?
Fuck yeah.
It's like Rich Piana.
Yeah, brother.
He's always going to have cap delts no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
I also know that been farting too much in my sleep whenever I'm taking 10 to 15 grams of creatine in the morning and I feel less dumb.
Dude, I've been so I don't know what it is. Like I usually don't really have like very smelly gas, but since I've been eating a little different on this prep, we started out eating chicken. Chicken has never done great with me. Like
I'm surprised you're eating it.
I can eat it for a little while and then it just sits in my stomach like a brick. Like
Yeah, Ian Veller is the same. Actually, Ian and I are the same way. I don't have
really?
chicken breasts in my diet anymore.
Actually, you know what else is something unique about his diet real quick? What's your primary lean meat?
Tuna. I was about to get to that, but like, yeah, I literally eat just like ahi tuna. I buy it at Sprouts and literally we cut it up raw, eat it raw. And that's what I've been eating this whole prep is just.
I'm glad you said ahi tuna because otherwise I was going to say that's fucking disgusting, dude.
Raw ahi and rice has like been my lean meals. But
that's kind of sick. Fucking
yeah,
little poke bowl.
Poke bowl. I mean, I love poke.
Yeah.
But it's been digesting well, but I don't know if it's the fish or if it's like whatever I'm putting on it, but I've had just like this certain smell coming out of me. It's just like, ooh, it's brutal.
Ever just like smash those cans of tuna like Popeye?
Yeah.
I guess I'm lucky I breathed that in my mouth.
I was telling my girlfriend last night because we were talking about like, stuff I'm going to eat after. And I was like, man, I miss tuna fish sandwiches. Like just like a good, like homemade tuna fish sandwich. Like, dang.
No. Tell him all the things he's planning to eat post show, he's going to forget about like immediately after he has a cheat meal.
Yeah, probably. Honestly.
Just one cheat meal and I'm done. I'm good.
You're like nothing you planned.
I mean, I will tell you though, the only thing I kept thinking about were those bazookies. I had 3 bazookies after my last show, and I still think about them to this day. Honestly, yeah, I kind of dream about them sometimes. As far as the prep is going right now, so what is I would love to kind of be able to visualize this prep in a pretty organized way. How did you guys structure this prep from the very beginning to where you're at now?
So I'll walk through it a little bit.
What are the things that have progressed?
You could just add in. So basically what we did is we started at the beginning of prep. Like you said, we had that issue with eating right away. So all we did is we started low. We titrated up. He lost a ton of body fat in that time. He got to around 245.
What do you mean by started low, titrate up? Started low with
meaning
what?
Like
foods.
The amount of like he couldn't eat. So it was like I was like, just eat 2 ounces of meat 5 times a day for me. I wanted to get his body used to the frequency. Because your body will actually acclimate with times and frequencies. If you eat at 2:00 every day, you will notice when you're sitting there at like 1:59, like, oh, I'm hungry. And you look at the clock, oh, it's 2. Your body will know. So you're kind of programming your body to eat at certain times. And he always has appetite issues. And he hasn't been starving in prep. Like I got to make him eat every meal. I'd be like, all right, it's time to eat. Like get that meal in, like he's not going to be like, oh, I'm hungry, So like I had to program his body to start intaking the food. And we'd be like 2 ounces, then to 4, then to 6. And he slowly walked that up. So at that time, his calories were excessively low. So he was losing body fat at a fast rate, hit 245. And then what happened if we hit 245? I don't think he lost any muscle. His performance was good. But even if he did, we gained that back right away. And he just sat at 245. And even I sent you a video yesterday. He's 242 weighed in with no shoes, no hat, nothing like that. So like he pretty much recompositioned there from I'd say 7 weeks out until now, which is 2 weeks out, so 5 weeks. And he just got leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner. But he does go very hard on his cardio, so that really helps. And then when we got towards like now, I got here, he was 6. So a lot of things are unconventional. There's no paper plan right now. I'm literally like winging it every no. And like, okay, you need this right now. We're going to do this. This is what we're going to do today. And I'm just adjusting it like every single day. So there's no like paper plan that I could put together to show you what he's doing. I'm adapting based on what his body is doing and what I want it to do.
Luke, what did your meals look like before this?
Before prep or?
Yeah, before we started.
Mostly steak and rice and, okay. So we started doing the chuck because it's a little cheaper. We would like slow cook chuck with birria. We got it from Costco. So I was just like having that in the fridge all the time. So we would do like a couple meals of that, maybe a chicken meal because my girlfriend would do.
Can I re-ask this question?
Right.
So I'm trying to understand because your timeline for this has been a little bit more confusing because of the situations, just what you were going through life. And obviously you, like from what I remember you guys saying, you started off having to almost run like a mini off season where you're gaining things back and then cutting down during prep.
Okay.
Like
So-
the whole thing has been like a recomp, really.
Yeah,
if
we
you look at it, right?
basically did like a I wouldn't call it a recomp, but just call it like what's it called when you build the muscle back?
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory, kind of just muscle
Yeah,
memory.
yeah. And then
So-
that started at how many weeks out?
Well, I would say we really got to work because I got back on like test and Nandrolone in December, like
Okay.
mid-December, probably
Okay.
like December 13th, 14th.
Yeah.
And then in January, like is when I kind of like started getting like serious about the training again because we were like traveling for Christmas, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
January is when I kind of got serious about the training again. So that's when I started training pretty hard. I actually was taking like Anavar, and you get so strong so fast on Anavar that I tore my calf on a leg press. I went from like 4 plates to 8 plates in like 2 weeks, and I tore my calf on leg press.
I would
Holy
say
fuck.
major strengths. There's no deformity.
Okay.
So, and I was like,
Fire.
I was like devastated.
Sick.
I was devastated, but
Yeah.
literally,
And, dude, Anavar hits like a fucking truck sometimes, especially
it
if you have
does.
some good
And
shit.
literally, I just went from like 600 milligrams total of test and Nandrolone to adding in 50 milligrams a day of Anavar and Ostarine, and literally, like my strength just like I said, just went
That's
crazy
fucking
right
sick.
off the bat.
That's so sick.
I was squatting like 4 plates for 10 reps, like free squatting, like multiple sets. And then, I strained my calf. And then,
Shameless
after
plug on
that-
that Anavar, bro. Fucking pharma grade.
yeah,
I just got my pharma
Anavar is great.
from
And then, like what I mentioned before, where I pulled him back on strength, I won't do that on Anavar because Anavar upregulates collagen synthesis very high. So
right.
the tissue keeps up. So I'm not as worried because what I do is actually, I have clients sometimes, like if it's a client that's very strong and I'm worried, I have them keep Anavar on hand because if there's any strains or injuries in prep, that's going to heal it faster than BPC or GH ever would.
Yeah.
So,
I got pharma Anavar from Optimized Routine in my clinic, and I swear to God, man, anytime I've gotten
it's good.
Anavar or Winstrol from fucking pharma grade, it just like hits like twice as hard.
I
start even like the Winstrol, I start losing twice as much of my hair as like normal Winstrol. I'm like fucking feeling conflicted.
So I actually, when I did that, I was out in Utah. My dad had like a really bad health scare, and he almost passed. And so I was out in Utah for 2 weeks, and then as soon as I got back, I just started training upper body because that's like kind of all I could do. I stayed on the Anavar, and literally the calf strain, Anavar and BPC and TB, and the calf strain was gone by like, February like 5th or 6th or something like that. I was training again, and then kind of just really hit a really good stride during February. We started just kind of like stepping up my meals. No plan to compete. Like we actually had planned to compete at Texas like late in the year. So I was literally just like, all right, I'm just going to be like full off season, just bodybuilding, pushing the calories in as hard as I can. So we were doing, like I said, just like beef and rice, couple meals, maybe a chicken and rice meal. We were doing like fish and rice, and then the end of the day would be like, in and out double doubles. So I was backloading maybe 2,500 calories for my last meal. I'm gonna know that. And I was pushing in the kerns each meal. So that was like the beef and rice was probably like, and butter. So it was probably 8 to 10 to 12 ounces of beef. It kind of like stepped up over time. And then the rice was maybe 1.5 to 2 cups, and then a quarter stick of butter, and then 2 kerns on top of that. So I was eating that maybe like 2 to 3 meals a day. And then I would do like a low fat, like high carb meal. And then I would do the in and out at night. So that's where you get up to around like,
I'm gonna give you an exclusive here because I haven't admitted this to Luke yet. Luke doesn't know this. So we were planning to do Texas. Why did I pick California? I picked California because Luke gets big spurts and then he gets interruptions. Something will happen. He'll immediately just like halt and start doing something else because for whatever reason, life comes, and I wanted to keep the pressure on. I wanted to keep the pressure on to keep that because he had insane momentum. I knew how big he was. I knew what he was capable of, and I knew that he had enough mass. So I selected Cali because Texas was further away, and I wanted to keep the pressure on. So that's why I convinced him to do Cali.
it's actually Eric's fault. Eric Janicki's fault. Oh yeah. Well,
It's always Eric's fault.
yeah. I went and trained with him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing Cali," and we literally planned to do like Texas, Tampa,
Mhm.
Texas. And I went and trained with him, and this was at 11 weeks out. And then like 2 weeks later, I was at the gym and I was like called Phil and I was like, man, it's like 9 weeks to Cali. Do you think that we could do it? And he was like, yeah, I absolutely think you could do it. He's like, you decide. So I spent literally maybe like 2 to 3 days just kind of like him on it. And then my girlfriend was just like, let's just pull the trigger and do it. So we
Nice.
hit him up. He sent me the plan at maybe like 8.5, 9 weeks, and then we
A
just
little under 9.
got straight to it.
What is the reason for the Austrian?
Hair. It had no effect on his hair, and his hair was still growing back in from the transplant. So I not only, well, again, like you mentioned before, I knew it didn't take a lot for his muscle memory to kick back in. So I knew he had a month of just solid growth no matter what he did if he was on cycle. I could have like eeny, miny mode and it would have worked. So we put him on a very mild cycle. We put Austrian in, put Anavar in, which are both hair safe, So I was thinking of everything possible to hair safe so his hair could still recover and grow in from the transplant, but we could also get our muscle memory back and get all those gains in the same time period, and then we could adapt. That's actually why I selected that.
Okay.
So I was
So
doing
we're Sarm goblins now.
Yeah. I had the first time I've ever tried one. I was doing them every day, and then literally like I was pushing food, doing great, and then my appetite just shut off, and I was like, oh, I got to take this out. So took it out. Literally 3 days later, my appetite came right back. And then right at that time, I decided I was like, I'm fucking over NPP. Like it's not my drug. My drug is Primo. So
your drug is Trent.
my drug is Trent. I jumped to the Primo, and then when I jumped to the Primo is when I kind of like really started stepping on the gas with putting on my size, because I went back up to that like 1600 milligrams total dose
Okay.
of androgens.
How much was the Primo? Like 700, 900?
700. It was I think 825 test, 700 Primo.
He's 875.
Okay.
875. Okay, yeah.
Okay. But I'm assuming that you kind of aromatize a little bit more than average, right?
No, he doesn't.
Which is what.
Zero.
I could put him on his Rama test, and his estrogens would come back at like 30.
So
I
how
don't use AIs with him until I got to get his fat off his ass at the end of prep.
So how are you able to manage having your Primo
has
like
AI properties too?
Hold on. So how are you able to manage having your Primo at like 200 above what it used to be, like in your off seasons? Like where does your estrogen land with that?
People are going to like to hear this, but 15.
Oh, what? Wait, so why?
I think that there's just biodiversity, and everyone says you got to be at this number or that number.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel bad when I'm a little bit higher estrogen, but I don't get issues I get issues when I'm like low, when I'm like, 5 or 6, but like when I'm at like, 15 to 20, like I feel fine. My dick works. Everything, I don't get any kind of like negative side effects on it. So,
and for the listeners,
this is exactly why I tell people to listen to your symptoms more than to listen to the number.
Well, just for your listeners as well, because some people might have caught some confusion. They might be saying, oh, well, Primo has AI properties, right? So that's why he can take that much test and has low estrogen. No, I can put him on a gram of test with nothing else, and his estrogen is going to come back at like 30. So he doesn't aromatize to a high degree at all. And then we put Primo in, it's even lower. And so I really don't use AIs with him at all until 4 weeks out?
Yeah. That sounds super logical.
I don't really like AI.
I know he doesn't like it.
I wasn't even really using it until you got here. Yeah, it's 2.5 weeks out. But now
I wouldn't either, dude. I wouldn't either.
12.5 milligrams. I saw his behavior by now.
And we're only using 12.5 milligrams of exemestane.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I don't really aromatize very much.
That's cool that you have no issues and you can build well on such low estrogen. I mean, when it comes to the number.
But his health markers are good too. So like he doesn't, his health markers don't get screwed from where his estrogen sits.
I would say that it just came from experience. Like I gravitated to what worked. If you like Nandrolone, use Nandrolone. You don't have to use like a whole plethora of drugs. If you find a test and a drug that works with you, just keep going back to it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm the same way, man. I've been doing test primo for how many years now?
Yeah.
I'm not on,
There's-
well, I got some GH and insulin now in the mix, which is
there's
nice.
so
I got
much
the whole quadruple.
There's so much biodiversity when it comes to the markers. Like too many people think that things are supposed to be a certain way. And this is the problem with a lot of the coaches in the industry is they just compare ranges. Oh, you're in range, you're fine. You're at like, they don't understand the story and how things actually work. I have friends whose AST and ALT sit very high, but that's natural. It's been that way all of their life. Their liver is completely fine. They've had imaging, they've had all kinds of things. It works perfectly fine. So some people sit higher, some people sit lower. I've seen low estrogen people get gyno. I've seen high estrogen and there's no gyno. Like I have never had gyno and I aromatize, you know? So like it's individual.
I actually had pretty bad gyno. I had it taken out in 2013 and I just haven't worried about it since. But my gyno was actually prolactin. It was from puberty. So like when I used stuff, it would get like way worse. And then when I got it taken out, it was just like, that was smart.
All right. Fuck it. Yeah. Do you feel like your prolactin is ever inhibiting like your growth or anything whenever you're jumping on something like tren? I'm assuming you don't smoke weed.
He doesn't have much issues with it because again, we don't really use caber with it very much. And, you know, he's on a decent dose. He doesn't have many issues with it. A lot of times prolactin-induced effects are due to elevated estrogen, but again, diverse. There's, you know, it's not like across the board for everybody, but typically he doesn't have issues with it.
So I wanted to talk about this with the Trenbolone. I am a very sensitive to nandrolones. Like I get Decadic super bad. Trenbolone, I even kind of get almost like an analog of Decadic. You know, it'll get hard and it'll be like at the 3 minutes later, it's like I can't maintain the erection. And then, you know, and then kind of the same thing with Tren where you're just like hypersexual, but like can't perform. Like I'm just having like an issue. So obviously I've done the caber thing in the past and caber works great, but this prep, I actually did the Mucuna prurines and the P5P, and that's all I've been doing. I haven't done any. I finally, when Phil got here, he's like, all right, let's switch over to caber. I was like, all right. But other than that, throughout the whole prep, I use that. And like, I feel like so normal. Like I'm not having any sexual side effects. I'm not having any acne side effects. I'm not having any like sleep side effects from Tren other than I am getting the night sweats, but I think that's blood sugar related. I'm not having like irritability. My irritability is like, I'm uber calm, which in the past, I've been like definitely one of those with like Tren. I get like way more irritable, get almost like you know, people on Tren. They get
His irritable is not everybody's irritable. His irritable is calm. His irritable is my calm.
So I would say that those two supplements, and then also kind of not on purpose, but inadvertently, I started taking a beta blocker, nebivolol, prior to getting on this. And I think that that's kind of like helped to lower my like adrenaline response to stuff because I felt like I'm like more calm now being on the amount of Tren I'm on than prior to even being on it.
Well,
I could see how all of those help for sure.
Yeah, they all kind of are like, you know, stacking to how.
Trenbolone tends to stimulate the central nervous system, and nebivolol is opposes that. It does the opposite. So it kind of counteracts that effect. So that's why he hasn't had as many effects with that. He actually went to pull it, started having sleep trouble. I said, no, put that back in, and then right back to normal.
Yeah.
I sometimes do nebivolol right before stepping on stage for the same reason.
Okay.
It's the only time I ever really use it.
I started using it because like genetically, I just have kind of a higher heart rate. My resting heart rate will be about 85 to 95. Especially when I get heavy, I'll be in that like 95 range. I'm a little lighter. Like right now, it's around like the mid 80s. But I kind of like freak myself out because I'm like, all right, that's starting to get on to like the pretty high range. Most people are beating it like 50 beats per minute. I'm beating it like nearly double that. So I started using the nebivolol to kind of like slow heart rate because it doesn't have kind of some of the other effects of like propranolol. Yeah, propranolol. So it doesn't have kind of some of the same side effects of the other ones. It just like lowers your heart rate. So that's how it lowers blood pressure because it's just lowering heart rate through a lower blood pressure through a lower heart rate.
And this is also why we'll keep his Yohimbe lower because Yohimbe is an alpha antagonist. Your alpha receptors are the ones that like hit the brakes. So when you're using a clenbuterol, for example, or any type of stimulants, you're stimulating. It's an agonist for your beta receptors. So it kind of stimulates your beta receptors and makes your heart rate go high, right? Makes your metabolism go, makes your metabolic rate go high and everything else. Yohimbe actually opposes that, and that's the reason why we take it because we start to have a resistance to the beta stimulants and things like that. And then they work less and less. So what happens is we use an alpha antagonist, which is what Yohimbe is. So basically we're shutting off that brake, that restrictor plate type effect, right? So, but with him, because his heart rate will go so high, I don't want to take away those brakes to any significant extent. So I won't go as high on the dose with him because of that. So coaches, keep in mind, if you have a client whose heart rate tends to sit higher or they tend to get higher anxiety, be careful with your Yohimbe.
Yeah. I see a lot of women have problems with that since they're really trying to get off the fat off their tie-ins, but then they have that.
Women's bodies are so sensitive. You've got to be very, very careful with things like that, because if you use too high Yohimbe, they get higher heart rate will start to cause anxiety. And with men, we can kind of push through our stress phases. A woman's body is going to just hit the brakes. If it's not their effort, it's not anything like that. It's just their physiology. When women's bodies get high stress, it hits the brakes. So you've got to manage women's sleep. You've got to manage their heart rates and their anxiety and their stress like you wouldn't believe. And then they're going to stay responsive. So you've got to, again, be especially, like you said, responsible with Yohimbe when you're dealing with women.
Yeah. Fucking women, man. Is there anything else that you guys have added now at this point in prep, PED wise?
We had just removed. So in the beginning of prep, I was on Test, Tren, Masteron, and Primo. And then we pulled the Primo and increased the Tren and Masteron. He had it written for us to take Winstrol and Halotestin, but I started taking the Winstrol. My appetite immediately shut down, and I said, "Hey, this isn't going to work." So we just pulled it. Albuterol, about 4 units of GH every night, and Yohimbe and
the Yohimbe and the GH are coming out now because he's ready for
what we did through prep. So
what we're changing right now as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm down to just 3 compounds: Test propionate, Masteron propionate, and Tren.
And another thing that we talked about is I will always pull Trenbolone because it causes a little bit of water retention with people, and it can cause anxiety, but it's not having those effects with him. So this is like a situation of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm going to bring the dose down, but I'm not going to pull the Tren out. And that's probably the only client I will leave Tren in up to the show, because for almost everyone else, it's going to mess with your peak.
It helps with glycogen loading, but it also
absolutely does
increase water retention.
It'll increase water retention. Yep.
So
what are the doses of the main compounds that you're on now? And you said no Halotestin now either, right?
Go ahead.
Okay. Right now I'm at 700 Tren, 700 Mast, and 350 Pro. Bill wants a little bit less Pro, but I'm kind of increasing that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I like having tests because
it'll get down lower closer to the show.
The last time we tested, we prepped. He pulled out my test pretty far out,
and he didn't feel very well.
They did stuff kind of
different
in those days. I think he pulled out my test at 4 weeks out, and I just felt like absolute shit. Like we increased the AIs. I just did not feel good. So this time I'm kind of keeping it a little bit, kind of up until we need to take it out.
We also had a unique circumstance back then, and that's why I pulled.
We were trying to lose muscle.
At a super heavyweight in the show, and I wanted to win both weight classes. So my deal with Luke was like, I'll coach you, but like I need you to make heavyweight. And I couldn't get him.
That's crazy.
Starving him, I couldn't get him. Like starving him and crushing him with cardio, I couldn't get him under 240. His body, and this is how I know I'm comfortable with him when he can't eat. I couldn't get him under 240. Starving him, fasting him, crushing him with cardio, couldn't do it. So I barely got him to make heavyweight. And yes, I did win both classes, by the way. But I pulled the prop out because I'm trying to get any weight off of him I possibly can get off of him to make weight. And it was funny because of that show it was interesting. If you ever go look at USA, it's the only one that had very little competitors in the heavyweights, because we were posting pictures up to the show and there's a lot of hype and everybody was,
I think there was 7 guys.
Everybody pretty much, all the good guys pretty much jumped out of that weight class and skipped the show. I told him if I saw him in there, I would have done tonight too. It was like, I'm not going to show up and like waste a fucking prep because I definitely can't beat this guy. And then everybody jumped into North Americans 4 weeks later.
That's funny. Okay. I'm the same way as you, by the way, when it comes to the low estrogen. Any time that it's just going like maybe below 15, it's just the side effects just become unbearable, man. And especially sleep just gets
Yeah.
non-existent, which I feel like is just
the biggest thing is like when I go to like nearly zero, my joints, my strength, and my sexual function just goes to like nothing. So, but like seems to be around 15 and 15 to 20. I mean, I'm fine. I've been like a lot higher. I've tested up to like maybe 40 and I've just been like casual, like okay. But like I do fine down to that number also.
He's not happy about it coming down now for the show.
I'm sure.
We had to like argue about it.
Yeah. And you just didn't do Halo at all, right? Because you started having issues with the Winnie.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna take one day and see how he responds to Super Draw, which we would only use the final 3 days anyway, and see how he stomachs it. And if it's an adverse reaction, we won't use it.
Okay.
They throw things in the final week that they haven't tested. We're gonna make sure he's okay before I actually do it.
I'll probably be fine with it because I can handle orals for a period, but something just after a little while, my body just says like, all right, you're done.
Yeah.
So, and usually it's about 10 to 12 days.
How much cardio are you doing?
So Phil kicked my ass with cardio this prep. He started me out at 60 minutes, 5 days a week. And it was a Stairmaster at level 4. So it was just the most slow, fucking monotonous walking. I was literally, that's like the worst part about this whole prep. Like I would prefer to get sick multiple times than do cardio 5 days a week.
And you know what? That's actually funny.
I feel the same.
When I got here, because he was sick, I was joking. This is actually something Milos always said. He should say, I love getting sick in prep because the immune system feeds off the body fat. I just get leaner and leaner and leaner doing nothing. So I knew his body was doing that. So that's why I pulled out the stepper. I think we only did one session since I've been here. And we would do we would do like strolls. I'm talking about that 2.0 on the treadmill. We walk down to the beach, walk along the coast, walk back. We do like an hour loop like that. But like we took his little dachshund with us and like, that's how fast we were walking. So like, it's almost nothing, but I knew that his body was trying to fight this. So we were burning up body fat. Like he was waking up every day looking like he made like 4 or 5 days progress. So like I was calculating like how fast the progress was going to be. And I said to him, I said, you're going to be ready by like what, Wednesday, Thursday? Today's Tuesday, you're ready? So, like I was pretty close. So like right now his cardio is almost non-existent. It'll be just like us walking out. Like today, I cut it down to like we walked around the block twice with 20 minutes.
So it started at 60, I think for about on the program for like 3 weeks. And then it went down to 45. And then now it's just kind of like when he's looking at me and he's like, all right, we need to push today, or all right, we don't need to push today. So we've done a full 60-minute walks, a couple 45s, and then a couple just 20-minute walks.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Last question before we move to the Q&A, just kind of curiosity. I can fucking remember. God damn it! I hate when this happens. Anyways,
because do you get brain fog from the gut issues? You think?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It feels like a fucking brick wall sometimes.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, kind of off the point, but have you ever tried Trazodone?
I have tried it once, and I think it's helped. I think it would be very helpful. My doctor. So back in 2018 when I got my card, I was basically trying to just sleep as much as I could, and I would go to bed at 8:00 at night. But I was taking Ambien to sleep because I didn't really like. I was just trying to sleep extra, So yeah.
I started using Ambien, and then like you kind of get hooked on that stuff because it is kind of like an addictive thing. And then a few years later, I started working with this doctor, and he's like, "Hey, that stuff's like not letting you get into REM sleep, but this other drug, Trazodone, will, and it's a lot healthier for you. It'll lower your blood pressure. It'll give you better erections. It'll do like all this stuff." And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And then when I did switch over to it, I knew it started working because I started dreaming again, like really vividly. And then my memory just got like 10x what it was on the Ambien. So I would recommend giving it another shot just because for me, for recovery, I think it's like a real game changer. And it kind of like, it's also like a antidepressant. So it kind of chills you out, kind of elevates your mood throughout the day and stuff. So if you're kind of like high strung, it'll kind of chill you out on that side.
Did he mention any negatives or any side effects about using Trazodone
I didn't
regularly?
really, he didn't really say any negatives. It's not habit forming. Like literally I've like stopped it multiple times, just cold turkey. And there's like no, like, I just like stop it. I like using it because I know that I'm like, oh, it's going to be easy to fall asleep. But when I don't use it, I'm just like, okay. Like I don't have like it's not like a withdrawal or an anxiety.
Right. You don't have those like Xanax for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely
It's a lot
not.
more preferable.
So, and it's kind of hit or miss. I talk to a lot of people about it because I'm so like pro it. Some people are like, oh, I tried that. I feel super groggy. And then other people, it must just be the biodiversity. Other people just absolutely love it and have no issue.
You've also got to keep in mind a lot of people wake up with alarm clocks.
Mm-hmm.
So like we don't use alarm clocks based on our lifestyle. So we don't have to. So he can wake up when he feels like waking up rather than when he's got to get up.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a difference too.
I pretty much wake up when the sun comes up every day.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Wait, what do you do as a job?
So we own that gym and then I coach clients online and then I'm sponsored by several companies.
Okay. And then you just have like your client calls like away from when you know you need to sleep,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I mean, they're
Okay,
all
that's
pretty
nice.
much like everyone's online. So we have just like WhatsApp, we chat. I chat with all my clients. Like I talk to every client almost every day. So I'm not like, they're sending me training check-ins. They're sending me, hey coach, I'm having, this issue with my eating or this or that. And I kind of troubleshoot stuff on the fly. So I'm not really having to like do very big changes because we're doing them just like all the time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Do you do anything for longevity? Reducing oxidative stress?
I mean, I started taking like CoQ10.
Yeah.
I really have gotten into red light the last probably 6 months. After I strained my calf, I went and got an ultrasound by this dude in Vegas. Did you meet that guy when you were at the Olympia that he was like ultrasounding people's hearts and stuff?
I don't think so.
I forget his name. He was really cool, dude. But I hit him up and I was like, hey, I think I tore my calf. Can you like ultrasound it to see? And he like looked at it and he's like, he said like, oh yeah, it's a strain, but it's a tear, but it's not like a detachment. And he's like, so it'll just heal up. And he's like, get this red light thing. So it's like this little red light brick. And I started just like putting it on the thing. And like that paired with like Anavar and the BPC and stuff, and that it healed like unreasonably fast. And I'm like, all right, there might be something to this red light thing. So literally, like when I'm training hard, I'll get like pain in my patellas or something if I'm like, hack squatting hard and stuff like that. So literally just like on my way to work, I'll put this thing on like 20 minutes and I'll just like drive with it on like each side.
Yeah.
Did you ever use
What makes you feel like it's not just the BPC and Anavar?
I feel like because I've been using those on and off for BPC since like 2016. Definitely those are like very contributory, but I just feel like there's just something to it. Like I just noticed like day to day using the red light that it was beneficial. So I mean,
Okay.
it might just be, my brain hoping it's good or it's better, and it's just like
No,
but
it's proven it works.
but I think that there's something to it.
That's what I use
Okay.
for my hair. Remember the red light cap? That's why I was just asking him if you wore did you wear the cap that I gave you?
Yeah, I wore it.
Yeah. So like we both did the red light caps for our hair restoration after transplant. And I think that's one of the reasons why my hair grew in so fast because I use it religiously. But there's a lot of research behind it. And I think at this point, it's not really theory or anybody's opinion. I think we know that it works. We just don't know what extent it works.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. You guys down to jump to the Q&A? But you don't do anything like citrus bergamot or astragalus root?
Oh yeah, I
You don't
do definitely. Kind of all the typical supplements. I take like 40 supplements every night. It's like
A2, D3, multivitamins, citrus
Yeah.
bergamot, omega-3 fish oils.
you're not somal nattokinase.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was about to ask if you're using nattokinase.
I started kind of researching the MOTS-C thing, and then I haven't ever taken the MOTS-C, but all the people were saying like, okay, you need to like do the mitochondrial things to make sure that your mitochondria is at the level where the MOTS-C is going to be able to like amplify using it. So they were like
Yeah.
saying like the PCC and the CoQ10. So I started just like kind of dosing those. I actually dose them like quite a bit higher because it's like take 200 milligrams. I'm taking like 600
But he can't do the methylene blue because he gets serotonin syndrome.
Yeah.
You get serotonin syndrome
The
from
methylene blue.
Yeah.
methylene blue
not like
with
to an extreme level, but definitely like skin sensitivity, sensitivity to like environment, my actually desensitivity to skin. Like literally, it was really interesting because I was like, was with my girlfriend and I was like, I'm having a hard time like reaching like orgasm. And I'm like, it feels like a sensitive part of my dick is supposed to be sensitive. Just feels like I'm like touching my arm. And I was like, there's something going on. I'd only been taking methylene blue for maybe like 2 weeks.
That's an SSRI symptom.
Yeah. And I started literally just ChatGPT in like what's going on. And it was like saying like, I started putting in like, I'm on Trazodone, I'm on this and that. And it said like, oh, you might be having like an issue with the Trazodone, like maintaining serotonin, and then like the compounding of the MAO inhibitor of the
okay. I see what you're saying.
Like amplifying it.
Okay. You don't know what the half-life of Trazodone is, it? Do you?
It's pretty short. I want to say it's like 4 or 6 hours, something like that.
That's actually something I should know that
I can't remember specifically.
5 to 9 hours for immediate release formulations.
Yeah.
Though some sources indicate a range of 4 to 13. Okay, so
But
that's kind of interesting. So, and you take methylene blue in the mornings?
No,
I couldn't take it. I took it for like 2 weeks, and then like I started having the serotonin syndrome. So
yeah, sorry, I meant to ask when you were taking it. When you were like, was it in the mornings?
First thing, yeah,
in the mornings. Okay,
yeah.
That gets me curious then, because I would think that you'd space out when you were taking them far enough that it's not. But I mean,
I also think that like I am like a hyper responder to things, but I also metabolize things really fast. So like if it says that the half-life of Trazodone is like 6 to 9 hours, like I feel like I can metabolize it in like 4 to 5 hours, like faster than a normal. I just think that like all of us that are bodybuilders, we're like turning over so much protein because we have so much size in us that I think that there's like we metabolize stuff.
Well, when your basal metabolic rate is higher, that's basically the speed and of which everything in your body is processed. It's not just how many calories you burn. So if you basal metabolic rate, you're going to have a higher turnover, which means you're going to clear drugs faster too.
That's what I've noticed is across the board. Normally, if you have a higher metabolism, it's across the board for
works the other way as well. If
your
you slow your metabolism in prep, the drugs last longer.
Yeah. Which is me. I'm like the slow metabolizer, right? So things take longer for me.
You know what?
But I think I'm also
mentioning that. Also, going back to kind of like the gut thing, I'm actually a slow digester. Like this is kind of like way back in our conversation, but like I actually like have slow gut motility. Like so for some reason, foods will digest through me like really slow. Like it's easy for me to compound meals because if I'm trying to push them in too frequently, they'll just stack on top.
That's one of the reasons we added the betaine.
Gotcha. Okay. Phil Sprill asks, "What's Luke's mustache routine?"
Man, I just grow this thing. This thing automatically grows like this, man.
You hear her laughing?
No, to grow a good mustache. I mean, if you got good genetics for it, you got to grow about like a 6-week mustache, and then you got to undercut it. You got to like pull it out and shave this like underneath there, and then it'll kind of just like pull up to the side like that. So.
Damn, that's a secret. Okay. That's cool.
And then I don't like it on my lip, so I kind of like bring it up off the lip.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, I only can do 2 mustaches. That's the Dirty Sanchez and the fucking Fu Manchu.
Oh, dude, I love the Fu Manchu, little cowboy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure. I don't understand this question. Chevy Leal asks, thoughts on ratioing test and EQ, like 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. I feel like it would depend on what your genetics are and your estrogen, where it lands.
That's going to be a situational question. It's going to be dependent.
I would say that you kind of got to go by feel a little bit because like some people might have high estrogen and they get a lot of suppression of estradiol from the EQ, and some people don't. Mm-hmm. So obviously the way to grow is going to have to be to have enough androgens in your body at one time. So like if you're just running like 400 tests and you're doing like maybe 200 EQ, like you probably are going to have a limit to how big you can get.
With the onset of the like at home blood tests now, what you're going to start to see in the industry is you're going to see more specificity and diversity in how people run their cycles. Because previously in the past, what we did is we went based off of educated guesses, what we know of how this works and what we want this person to do and how we think they're going to respond, because they can only run blood work every so often, right? But now if we've got monthly blood work, we can really gauge how they're responding to each individual drug and then really tailor it to the individual person. What you're going to see is you're going to see a lot more diversity and customization in cycles as people start to do this more.
Okay, gotcha. Arms and Arms says, no questions, just hype for this one. One of the questions we kind of already went over. City Parker asked, what is this off-season protocol gear and trading?
Oh,
I covered everything with that. Right?
I want to maybe get into the training just a little bit more. So maybe just like talk about my split.
Yeah.
I think talk about deadlifting.
I like to deadlift.
Well, specifically how you deadlift and why.
So we'll talk about my split real quick first, and then we'll get into the deadlifting. So I do, I would say like a 4-day split. What is it? 1, 2, 3. And then lately I've been wanting to build more legs. So I actually put in a 5th day of a second leg day per week.
With managed volume.
So I like to have like a little bit more frequency on the extremities. So I do I do back and forearms, and then chest, triceps, calves, and then quads, hams, or just legs in general, shoulders and arms, and then calves again. And then the 5th day would be legs again. And Phil was kind of like, how can you recover from that? And maybe it's just a me ability thing. I think maybe some people could do
and a trend thing.
I think some people could do that if they are like maybe splitting up their leg day. I'm able just to run like full legs and I'm able to recover from it and still progress like continually. So I'm going to keep doing it just because I've always been like easy to grow upper body, but like my legs have just been like, it's been, I have to like extra work at them. So I've been doing that probably for the last year, and it seemed to be working really good. But the way that I do the split like that is because you do back and biceps, and then shoulders and triceps, and then at the end of the week you do, chest and triceps, and at the end of the week you do another push day with biceps on there as well. So you're getting like double the volume on arms, because like it doesn't want to have big arms. I mean, like everything can grow like normal speed, but you want your arms to grow double speed.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And then I'm like a very much kind of the compound kind of guy. Like I love to deadlift, and I deadlift heavy for volume.
So here's the thing. We had this discussion, and then I greenlit the deadlifts because they actually really work for him because of the way he does them. He doesn't do deadlifts conventionally the way that everybody else does them to grow your back. Typically, the way people normally do deadlifts does not grow their back, because what is the goal? The goal is to get your hips in as close to the bar as possible, get under it, and try to drive up. You squat it out of the bottom, and you try. But the thing is, you keep your spine locked. There's no flexion and extension of that spine. The way Luke does is there's an old power lifter. You said the style had a name.
Yeah, it's like a Finnish
style. But the guy was Constantino. What he did was he actually started with a rounded thoracic spine, which is the middle of your back. So as he comes up, his spine starts rounded and then gets straightening. So he's getting a little bit of lengthening and shortening to the back muscles as he deadlifts. And he does it a little bit more like a stiff leg rather than squatting it up. And that's what makes it more back. I don't teach this because almost nobody can do this right without hurting themselves, but he's programmed this in and he's so good at it that he can execute it. And it's really made a big difference in his back development.
It's made a difference in my thickness, like throughout the spinal erectors and even the traps, I would say.
I'll send you a picture of what I took from the side when I first got here with spinal erectors, and no shit, they're like 6 inches off his back.
Okay. Interesting.
So
nuts. So if somebody needs to focus on the rhomboids and their back thickness, what would you have them do?
Steel row.
Do what?
Steel row.
Yeah. So if they don't have thickness, a lot of people don't have thickness in their traps, rhomboids, and maybe rear delts. So I really like a seal row where you're getting straight over the bar and you're lifting with like the more you come down, the more you're lifting with your lats. Like the
Mhm.
more you bring this in. So
Mhm.
just having like this, and like we literally we lifted with my good buddy. He's extremely strong. He's 300 pounds, and he had to go down to like
Plate and a half.
he had to go like 60 pounds lighter than me. I was doing 2 plates. He did a plate and a half, and he was like really even. I think he went down to a plate at the end.
You let you a plate as
He
well.
was like, I don't have the strength there because he lifts with the strong parts of his back, so he doesn't have that like trap thickness in the lower traps.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like one of the biggest things that a lot of people need to check their ego and get strong at lifting like correctly for their traps. Because I think that's just like one of the bigger holes in people's back.
You want to be prone and you want to have the bar aimed at your middle chest with your elbows directly in line. Like you said, don't drop your elbows because then your lats are going to come into play. So your elbows have to stay in that line of pull towards the center of your chest. See, I take a different approach because not everybody has a seal row. So what I do is I have all my guys do a T-bar row, right? But what I tell them to do is I want you to go so heavy that you can't do full reps. If you can get that bar past halfway, it's too light. So what does that force you to do? It forces you to retract your scap and almost turn it into like a shrug row.
Kelso shrug.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's targeted through the center of the back. And that's when you're able to really hit and overload those muscles. So I use that variant, but a seal row is going to be better if you have the option.
So I started doing 2 sets of seal row, like for my top sets, and then I'll finish with a set of just like a Widowmaker Kelso shrug,
And
on the same piece, but just doing the shrug.
And again, I explained this to him the other day, yesterday, that he did this instinctually, and it ended up being correct scientifically. He's leading with these exhaust, because what does most people do wrong with their backs, right? When people have weak lats and everything else, you see them rowing. What do? They're shrugging their rows, so they're not really getting their elbow all the way back. They're doing a hell of a lot of shrugging. That's all mid back. He's exhausting the mid back and then training everything else, so that those muscle groups are already taken out of contention and they can no longer assist. So now they can't do the conventional, typical general cheat that everybody does. So again, he got that right because it made sense to him.
Cool. Okay. I think the picture is getting I think it got a little bit lost in our messages because we've messaged a lot since, but if you can send me that
I didn't see
picture.
that. You want me to send it to you now?
Yeah, if you can resend the picture of his, you don't have to do it now. You can do it after, of
My
his
phone's right here.
back. Like your back thickness looked fucking insane, man. Like it's just fucking unreal, like what you got going on down the middle. So
Take me 10 seconds.
yeah, maybe I can overlay it so people can see as we're talking about this back exercise.
Yeah.
My disciplined mind says a small world. I used to train at the same gym as Luke 10 years ago in Cali, spot called Mavericks.
Yeah. Mavericks was the OG spot. That's where it was just kind of a fitness center, but
that was last week.
that's where I trained my for my
It's nuts.
all my Cali.
I told you.
Both my Cali wins and my USA win.
Those are fucking mountains back there, dude.
Did I
It's
not
fucking
tell
ridiculous.
you his spinal erectors are jumping off his body?
It's fucking insane.
Fucking retarded.
Yeah, it's exactly what I need. Um,
You're in
My-
Vegas now, right?
yeah, I'm in Vegas.
Yeah. Next time I'm out there, I'll hit you up. We'll get a session in.
I would love that, bro. Please, please. Martino Goldbranson asks thoughts on the whole EQ turning into horse estrogen in the brain findings.
The what?
The whole EQ turning into horse estrogen in the brain findings.
I haven't seen anything on that. I can't comment.
So there's only I think there's only one kind of estrogen, one kind of testosterone. I mean, dog testosterone is the same as human testosterone. And just because they call a drug equipoise doesn't mean that it was invented for horses. It's just an analog of testosterone. You know, they used it with horses racing. So it's not necessarily like it could have been called fucking Candelone for something, you know, it could have been called any other name. So people, they're like, oh, this is only a horse drug. Is like,
There is minor variants of the estrogen within the body, but I think people are overplaying.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think people are overplaying the significance on it, kind of like the way the whole scientific lifting community are like overplaying how much details actually matter. But again, I don't know for sure. I've got to look more into it. I've scanned over it briefly, but I'm not going to comment on something that I'm not well versed in. So like, I'm not qualified to have an opinion on it right now.
There was another thing that also has a different type of estrogen that I'm trying to remember. don't know if it was Nandrolone or what or whatever, but fuck. Sorry,
When
guys.
you're
This
when
was a
you
fail.
take when
One
you
L.
take
Huh?
nandrolones, you test. Oh, is it like when you do blood tests with Trenbolone and stuff? You get higher E2 reading.
It wasn't Trenbolone. It wasn't Tren, but there was
When you do it with
something
any
that I was looking into.
nortestosterone, if you do blood tests and you don't do an ultrasensitive, you'll get a high estradiol reading.
Is that for norestrogen? Is that what it is or something?
What do you mean?
I can't, dude. I can't speak on something I don't even remember.
It has to do with the prolactin or something. Like for some reason, those blood tests, because it's not like Trenbolone is not. It sees it as their test isn't like ultra sensitive, so it sees it as an estrogen.
If anyone can think about what I'm talking about, there's like a compound that if you use, there's like an extra estrogen.
I was paying attention to me. I was paying attention to his pop.
Yeah, I'm saying it right now, and I'm asking the audience if they can think of what we're trying to talk about or what we're trying to think of, where there's like a different type of estrogen that can be raised, and I think the community still doesn't really understand how to manage that, but you can have some kind of interesting symptoms that come with it, and it's not really shown on your blood work.
Like a progesterone or something like that?
No, it's different than any of the normal.
Okay,
hormones that
I'm
we
not
discuss.
familiar.
I'm not familiar with what you're referring to, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like that also tells me that it's probably not that important. But it just sucks though, because some people do get interesting symptoms.
I'm always
in certain
still learning.
cases.
It may be important. I may just not have learned it yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Joey 208 asks, what are the biggest cycles you guys ran?
I would say up to 2 grams. And probably what I'm on right now is like 1750 is among the highest I've ever taken.
Okay.
My highest is 1500 test, 800 EQ. That was always my bulk at the end, because that's what I responded best to. I didn't like having to take those doses. I didn't like how I felt on those doses. And like I said, if I had this to do over, if like Classic was around, I wouldn't have had to take those doses. I would have stayed in Classic. Like my body wasn't built to be like an open bodybuilder. I just don't have the structure. I don't have the ability to get that big without really hammering myself. And I don't like what I had to do to get that big. And I didn't like the look at the end either. So I don't recommend it. I don't like how that felt. Some people can handle it. Some people can't.
I think funny, a lot of bodybuilders say that. Like Cutler said, he didn't like where he had to push his body to FOD. You know, he said he kind of had to push himself up into that like 300 range. He like blew out his lines and stuff. So.
Cutler said he hated his look when what he had to do to win. You know, how he had to look to win. He said he preferred his 2003 look. You know, I preferred my Classic look.
He was chasing Coleman, so he had.
I mean, he got it done. So shit.
Yeah. Jet Jordan asks, long-acting insulin or short-acting, and why?
I hate long-acting.
Short because you can control control meal to meal what you're doing. The long-acting, I think, just creates insulin resistance.
The longer you have exposure to something, the more resistance you're going to build to it. So I don't like anything sitting in the system long enough for that to happen. I like it to go in and out. A lot of people like use Lantus and such, and I'll explain why that's stupid. And I'll literally say that's stupid and it just shouldn't be done. And a lot of people like to do it. And a lot of coaches think that it's great. And here's why. Because when you have a higher basal insulin level circulating through your system, aldosterone rises in correlation with insulin. So you have more water retention. The scale is up. Yes. You're getting some leverage from that water. Yes. But you're also going to get higher blood pressure. You're going to get all those other adverse effects that come with it. I think we can all agree that a lot of water retention is not a good idea. And then as you become more exposed to the Lantus for longer periods of time, you build more resistance. Your body still has to pulse more insulin relative to the food that you eat. When you eat it, insulin goes even higher, aldosterone goes even higher, water retention goes even higher. That's why I think we're piling on all this weight. Yeah, because you're continually adding more water retention as you become insulin resistant. Lantus is stupid. If you're going to use insulin, you get it in, do its job, get it out. And I will debate anybody on this who wants to jump on here and argue with me.
I think it would be awesome if you and Milos and Dave Palumbo got on a debate.
Dave Palumbo's a fake. I would love to debate him.
Oh man, this is crazy.
He's full of shit. I would love that. I would love to sink his shit. Bring him on.
Oh damn. Maybe we should just put just you or just Milos, because then it would be like a gang.
Mark my words, Palumbo won't do it.
Maybe.
Me and Milos tend to agree. Palumbo won't do it.
I feel like Palumbo will go on if it's just
Me and Milos would just be agreeing the whole time. Columbo's full of shit, wouldn't know what we're talking about, and I'd make him look like an idiot because I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm going to expose every mistake he makes. And I'll bring up past shit he said it's wrong.
All right, we're going to move on.
No, I want you to air this too.
Jed Jordan VR30 asks, nattokinase source for lowering and managing its HCT.
Say it again?
Nattokinase source for lowering or managing HCT.
The source where I get it from? Amazon?
I'm assuming.
I use Hemoflow from Leviathan, if that's what he's asking.
Okay, yeah. I just get mine from Amazon too. I think it's double. What is that one? Double something? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that one. Yeah, I use this one. It's called liposomal nattokinase, and it's like 12,800 FU.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't know, just
it's
it's like little pellets. They're kind of interesting looking, but little yellow like pellets. But I've been liking that one a lot. And I mean, it just lowers your clotting factors so that you don't throw a clot if you're running high.
Okay.
High hemoglobin hematocrit.
Just Joseph asks, what is his intra-workout shake secret?
Oh, I published it pretty much. Everybody who follows me has it. It's just no secret. So what happened was, the way everybody used to do intra-workout is we did large volume actually. And I want to credit the creator of this, Milo Sarsab, actually, and like came up with the concept of using an intra-workout. He's the one who pioneered the idea. He was the first one to make the supplements. He was the first one to structure it. And there's a lot of people that argued with him, and he ended up being absolutely fucking right. So credit to Milos on that one, first off. So what happens is people do these very large volume shakes, like up to 40 ounces. And as we know, it's hard to drink that much during your workout. You start getting bloated. It's sitting in your stomach. You're having all these issues. But not only that, we don't get the glucose in fast enough to use it when we need it. What good is it if we're drinking it towards the end of the workout, but the workout's over, right? So we want it to get in as fast as it can in order to boost our performance. So it was previously thought that a more viscous fluid, a higher thickness concentration, like shake, would disrupt digestion and draw blood to the intestinal tract, cause an autonomic nervous system shift, and really impair performance, right? But it turns out that that's not what the case is based on anecdote, for example, because I ran my own little research project on it. I had 20, 30 people volunteer. I ran it for weeks on end, and literally 100% across the board, it worked better. When I released it to the public, 100% across the board for everybody, including a lot of pros, including some Olympians, telling me it works unbelievably. Everybody loves it. So what you're doing is you're taking whatever amount of carbohydrates that you had, and you're putting it in only 10 to 12 ounces, which is going to make it very thick. So what I did was I removed the EAAs because it's just going to be too thick, right? So the EAAs are for an anabolic response, but the carbohydrates are to boost your performance. And we want that acute response, right? If we can get more quality reps, we can lift more weight and perform better, we're going to get more stimulus. And then we can worry about recovery later. So I felt that the EAAs are not as important. So I removed them. So we're high electrolytes, high sodium, high potassium, and we are using whatever carb volume we have. Say I do like 50 to 75 grams of carbohydrates in like 12 ounces, which is really thick. But what happens is you got to do it in the right sequence. When you start when we want to uptake glycogen, right, form glycogen into our muscles, we need to bring the GLUT4 transporters to the surface of cells, called translocation. Translocation, moving it from one location to another. So insulin can do this. When insulin attaches to the cell, it brings that transporter to the surface, and now you can bring in glucose. But muscular contraction also does this, and you don't need insulin for that to happen. So you can translocate without insulin with muscular contraction. So what we're doing is we're having a longer warm-up, getting more reps without fatiguing the muscle, and then we're going to do our first exercise. You should have some glycogen in it to begin with, or you're probably doing things wrong. So you're going to go through your first exercise. When that first exercise is done, completely done, you are going to drink half that shake, which is going to be 6 ounces. And then you're going to stop. You're going to give it 4 minutes to digest because you'll feel it sitting in your stomach for a second. Give it like 4 minutes. Then you go to your second exercise and you're just sipping water. You're going to do your second exercise. After that exercise, you're going to drink the other half. Now you've got all of the carbohydrates into your system and those transporters translocated. Uptake is optimal at that point. Everything is functional. You give it another 4 or 5 minutes to go through your system. Then you're just drinking water through the rest of your workout. So what we're doing is we're actually carb loading and super compensating in the beginning of the workout. So we're no longer going in with normal glycogen levels. We're super compensating at the beginning of the workout and loading extra glycogen into the muscles and then performing the workout. So you're having an immediate increase of leverage because you have to bring in water to form glycogen. So you're getting an increase in leverage, you're getting an increase in energy production. So you're enhancing basically everything that we need to perform better. And then not only that, you're not bogged down by trying to get 40 ounces down through your workout, and really struggling with that while you're trying to train hard and go fast and drink this big thing. You're just sipping water. It's already in. You already have everything that you need. And across the board, it's been more effective. This is going to be the new way. No one's ever going to do the large volume shakes anymore in about 5-10 years. I guarantee it.
So you don't think that the viscousness in the very beginning, like drinking that, kind of makes you feel a little bit like
I've had
in your first few sets?
Almost no effects. The people that had adverse effects are the ones that didn't take like 3, 4, 5 minute rest because they just kept going. But as soon as I made that correction and they actually drank it, then waited their 3-4 minutes and was patient, no more problem.
Cool.
I think that the quality of the product also matters. I'm biased. I'm with HD supplements, so I use Carb HD and I use the Hydra HD, which is what I've been using, which I had everybody in the study use, by the way. So that's what we used. And that's what most people are using because that's what I use. That's what I recommended. And it's working phenomenally. Somebody said that they had issues. I asked them what they use. They use dextrose. So I've had one instance where like there was a little bit of upset stomach, and that instance was dextrose. I don't know if if highly branched like dextrose from other companies is going to have the same effect or not. I don't know. I only use Carb HD, but I can tell you Carb HD, Hydra HD is what we used, and it was 100% effective across the board.
Yeah. I like my cyclic dextrin from Huge and NutriBio. It normally works well, especially if it's like what you're
Give
doing.
it a shot. Let me know how it
not
works.
too much. Just Joseph asks steps versus HR zone targeted cardio for fat loss.
For fat loss, steps. In the off season, I like to do like zone 2, like high zone 2 or low zone 3 for just for my heart health and for digestion and
Allows you to train harder.
Yeah, basically, I do that just so I can get through leg days.
Yeah. Devin's Checo one asks, how in the fuck did he get peeled so fast?
Genetics. Parents, Trenbolone. I picked the right parents and Trenbolone.
Hell yeah. I mean, you had a fucking crazy amount of cardio in with like pretty minimal food as well though, right?
The first 2 weeks, yeah. I mean, I really dropped the first 17 pounds in 10 days.
Is that fast?
I sent Phil a check-in after 10 days and he was like,
What the fuck?
what the fuck did you do?
That's funny.
But that's just kind of junk water, junk fat. I mean, Phil, we started at 8 weeks out. We didn't do a 12, 14 week prep. We started at 8.5 weeks. So
We were actually joking about this in the past. And we were always like, I bet I could do it. I bet you could do it 6 weeks.
honestly, I think that an 8-week prep is best for me because if we kept trying to maintain this and push it, I would get like
Body burnout.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. TS Long 229 asks, insulin protocol for a 40-plus-year-old bodybuilder with fasted AM blood glucose almost always 100+.
No such
Trains
thing.
early AM with meal one.
No
What's up?
such thing. There's no such thing as an insulin protocol. Everything should be individualized to the individual person based on what they're doing, what they need. And if a coach doesn't know how to do that, then they're an idiot. If you look at 10 of my clients using insulin, you would think there's 10 different coaches because everyone has a different protocol that's tailored to them for the specific individual situation. So there is no such thing as a protocol.
I would say personally, it was something I talked about in the last podcast with Andrew Barry. Was he likes to use maybe like, for example, like say that your blood sugar's like at 99 or something. He likes to use 2 IUs fasted in the morning just to get that down to like the 80, 70 range and then do the fasted cardio.
We did that.
Yeah, we did that.
Okay. Cool.
That's something long-standing that like a lot of elite coaches have done.
So basically the way it works is if you have a lot of glucose in your blood when you're doing cardio, your body is going to use that as a substrate for energy right away. Like, if you eat a muffin and then you go do cardio, you're literally just burning out that existing muffin.
We're laughing because this is from a story.
So if you lower your blood glucose and like, I would say
Did you hear that?
the best would be around 70. You start getting below 60, you start feeling like shit, but around 70, and you're not going to have a lot of glucose in your blood. So your body's going to go to fatty acids specifically, and you're burning through those for your long steady state cardio. This will not work with aerobic cardio. If you're doing high heart rate cardio, it uses glucose, which this could be dangerous because there's zero glucose available. So now you're like going to push your blood sugar down to really low range. So you can only do this if you're doing boring, long, monotonous cardio. And like, I really don't recommend that anybody that's not an advanced insulin user to do this because it could be very dangerous. I mean, one day my blood sugar got down to 40, and I only know that because I check it throughout the cardio. I'm like, kind of every 10, 15 minutes.
You've got to be hyper aware when you're in this situation.
Yeah.
And you got to be prepared. So the way you're
and you got to be like, also, and when I went down to 40, I literally went and I had 2 tangerines. I ate those tangerines and I sat there and I thought, there's a gas station right there. I could go grab a Snickers bar and feel a whole lot better. But you wait 20 minutes, your blood sugar comes back up to normal, and you don't blow a whole day of cardio by shooting it right back up. So you got to be, it's not the most fun way to do it.
Let me make this a little more clear for people because there's certain things that need to be put in place here. So the reason, again, why we do it is because everybody's heard that, it takes 15 minutes to get into a fat burning zone to start burning body fat. So your first 15 minutes of cardio doesn't count. That's because you have energy substrates in your blood. You have triglycerides and you have glucose. If you can bring that down below a certain level, then your body has to go searching for energy now because there's no immediate energy in the bloodstream. If we wanted, some peanut butter and it's on the counter, you're not going to go digging in the cabinets where it's stored. It's right on the table to eat. So if you have energy available, your body's not going to burn body fat when it's readily available. So we shuttle that into the system, get our blood glucose down. And then when you get on cardio, now you're not losing that first 15 minutes anymore. So imagine an extra 15 minutes of body fat burning every cardio session through the entirety of prep. So it makes a difference. Now, here's the difference with people crashing and whatnot. People will take their insulin and then go jump on their cardio. No, you take your 2 IUs or whatever it is that you take, give it 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then you go. Because now it's not pulling your blood glucose down anymore and you're not in a dangerous state. And that's what's going to make it more effective. And what he was talking about as far as intensity is your anaerobic threshold. So once you jump over your anaerobic threshold, it's the point at which your body can no longer generate energy from body fat and oxygen. It has to switch over to glucose, to glycogen. So once you jump over that point, you're no longer burning as high a percentage of body fat that you are. Here's the argument for the general population. But you're burning more total calories over the anaerobic threshold. Yes, that's true. But if you're a bodybuilder, you don't want to be burning up your glycogen. So you want to stay below that point. And this is where you want to be able to have a conversation during your cardio, right? If you can have a conversation, that means you can breathe. It means if your breathing is enough to generate that energy. If you're huffing and puffing, what is that? Your body's trying to get in oxygen. It's fighting for energy. And that's when it switches. So you should be able to have a conversation during your cardio. That means you are below your anaerobic threshold and you're in your optimal fat burning zone without potentially tapping into your glycogen and burning up muscle.
Cool. Brian Johnson asks, is it true that Luke runs on photosynthesis primarily?
Primarily, yeah. Brian, he's my...
Did Brian say that?
Yeah, it was Brian Johnson. He trained with me when I came back from breaking my arm, and literally he was lifting the same weights, taking the same drugs, eating the same foods, and I grew 3 times as fast as him, and he was just like, we're not built the same.
That's hilarious. Dude, sorry, what were we going to say?
No, I was going to say, I always joke around because I always call him Kryptonius, and then I start calling you Luke L. Like you get energy from the sun.
How much do you take off every year?
Time?
Yeah.
I like to at least take 3 months off of gear completely. And when I'm on that time off, I'm just doing HCG.
He takes more than that off.
3 months off.
He's not on.
I was about
of the year.
I was close to 3 months, but yeah, dude, I took 12 weeks off, and I'm not under a coach right now, and I'm blowing up, man. Like, what is it? I got down to 178 during my health phase. Now I'm 202. Yeah, it's been 3 months, and I can still see glute striations in my left glute. Yeah, so it's good.
And then when you go back on gear, you're going to be like supercharged and freaking jump up to 220.
Don't push.
No. I did go back on gear. That's how I gained the mass, because I flattened out from being in the health phase. But like that muscle memory just bounced back fast, and then extra when I started titrating things up.
I think it does have its importance because like I'm 41, and in a lot of ways, my body,
Oh shit, you don't look anything close to that.
my body's not 41. Yeah, like
His body is not 41.
like my if I always say like my face because it gets a lot of sunlight, so it's like looking a little bit like older, but like my
But you don't look older at all. It's
to me,
crazy.
my skin, like you could if you didn't like take a picture of my face, like just the neck down, like my skin looks like I'm like a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, like maybe even younger, because it just is like still young, supple, healthy skin. And I think the part of that is not pushing GH, not pushing dosages too crazy. I mean, 1,500 milligrams for an open bodybuilder is like
genetics.
kind of unheard
Yeah.
of.
I'm sure that's
If
pretty
you were
nuts.
to look, for example, like I was describing him, he's 41, I'm 43, right? So I don't carry much body fat in my legs at all. I can pull on my skin. So as you get older, what happens is we have tissue that not only controls the elasticity of our skin, but connects it to the muscle beneath it, right? Connects to the fat.
Yeah.
So mine is becoming unconnected. I'm 43, and I actually age slow for my age. I can't pull off of his fucking muscle, so it's bound to it still. That's a genetic component mostly. I don't think it has much to do with GH, because anything GH would enhance that, not
But I think high functions, but ages people and stuff as well, and constantly pushing in the off season.
he didn't bodybuild straight through. He took breaks.
Yeah.
But you live in San Diego, right?
No, I live in Ventura.
Oh, for sure. But you used to.
No, my girlfriend lived down there, but I was down.
Okay.
I go down there. I used to go down there quite a bit.
I was gonna say it's all the supplements you take for your health, and then living in San Diego that keeps you so young.
I mean,
Honestly.
Ventura is super laid back. Like, don't tell people, but this is like the best community to live.
Oh yeah, that's chill. Cool. All right. Well, I ask everybody one last question at the end of every podcast, but if you were to disappear from the world tomorrow, what message would you guys send to the entire world today, independently?
Let me think. Ooh,
I think I struggled with this last time.
Yeah.
I would say, that people need to do what makes them happy. Like, there's so many people that are judging, and I think that in a lot of ways, I live my life kind of just doing what I want to do. Like I like having this cowboy style and this bodybuilding style, and I ride a Harley, and I do all these kind of like different things that clash, and I get tons of hate online because people are like, "Oh, that's gay. Well, that's gay." And I'm like, man, if you knew me,
What?
I'm a different person, but I'm super happy doing like every single thing that I do. So I think that if I disappeared and people had to like remember one thing, just like he lived the way he wanted to, and everyone should kind of just like not live to another standard of anyone else.
That's gay to ride a motorcycle?
No, they say like just like because I like to wear cowboy boots. I have a OBS Ford truck, and I just like I wear freaking crop tops and like freaking silkies going to the gym, and I have a mustache and a mullet, and like just these things like stand out. Like the people are like,
You just fucking
"Oh,
live in America, bro.
that's so weird and gay," and I'm like,
Country.
whatever. Like,
That's funny.
I mean, I'm going to co-sign on that one. I remember a kid messaged me like days ago or like a week ago and asked me like if I thought he had potential to do something. My answer was, what does my opinion matter? If I say no, are you going to stop? Like, why would you let my opinion of you dictate anything to do with what you do with your life? What does it matter? What do I matter? Maybe I'm wrong. I told him, I said, Phil Hernon told me when I was young, you will never be top 10 in a national show. And I pretty much shoved that up his ass 8 times. So like, and I wouldn't be here today with you guys if I quit, and all the people told me to quit. So like, I didn't listen, right? So I love that
Yeah.
message. Be yourself. Don't let people discourage you. Don't base what you
Yeah.
do based on other people's opinions, because it doesn't matter. Like their life,
Yeah.
if they're not in your life, their opinion doesn't fucking matter.
yeah, if you're not adding to my
I agree with that,
income or
man.
sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going, please.
Oh, if you're not adding to my income or my happiness or anything, then like what does it really matter to like care about your opinion?
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. If I kept caring about people's opinion with my content and shit, I probably would have kept just doing these like fucking review ass videos where I'm like downtown or in the streets and I'm like asking girls like what fucking body type they like on
Yeah.
some crazy shit, dude. But instead I just like talking about steroids, so I have this podcast instead.
Yeah.
Hopefully
No,
that was doable.
And look at how good
I
you're
also
doing.
made more money before I told people that I was on PEDs.
mhm,
But I mean, dude, what's the fun if you can't talk about it?
true. I mean, I like being honest about it. Like I, tell people what I take, and I tell them like we're built different. You're not going to like take what I take and look the way I am, because like I started 20 years ago and my dose was like, 250 fucking milligrams. And, like my very first cycles were like pro hormones. It was 30 milligrams a day of like freaking Ferroplex and stuff, So,
Yeah.
I mean, I started at like way down there, and then now I'm at like a pro bodybuilder level. I'm 240, 250 pounds, and I take the dose I take, but like, you're not going to speed run bodybuilding by taking a higher dose. And all you're probably going to do is just inhibit your ability to grow. So
Everybody's bodies has a limit to the rate at which you can synthesize muscle, and it's going to be a genetic component. And there's nothing you're going to take that's going to speed that up or match which somebody else can do.
yeah,
Like, no matter what I know, no matter what I've ever figured out, I wouldn't grow at his rate. It just wouldn't happen, And that's for the most part, like everybody, everybody's like me, like we're going to struggle, we're going to battle. It's going to take time. Now you have exceptional genetics. I don't think I probably grow like you, So like, it's going to be individual. You can't try to do what somebody else is doing or base what you're doing off of that, or think that there's going to be some magic there, because there's not. It's consistency and it's stacking results, compounding. That's it.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Thank you guys. That was awesome.
appreciate it, man.
Oh, that was a good conclusion. Where can people find you? Where do you want people to look for you?
Luke the Hulk on Instagram. I started a YouTube page. I'm kind of putting up little podcasts that are like unique. I shoot training videos in the gym, and then I podcast over them, so you can kind of watch something while you're listening to me yap. So it's Luke the Hulk 1 on YouTube and Luke the Hulk on Instagram.
Hell yeah! And then
And
Phil.
then I just opened a gym out in Westlake Village. Right now, if you looked it up, it's called Elevate, ELEV8, number 8 Fitness. I changed the name to the Performance Labs, so over the next 2 months, it's going to be changing over. But if anyone wants in-person personal training, if people want online personal training, DM me, reach out to me through that.
Sick. Oh yeah. And then Phil Viz, right?
I'm pretty easy. Everybody knows where to find me. My name would
Sick.
be Instagram. Shoot me a DM and we'll chat.
All right, bet. Thanks, guys. That was dope. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because it got us sick, fucking big ass motherfuckers like these guys. So
Boom.
I ain't lifting my arms
love
up.
y'all. And get the transparent merch.
See you guys.
Thanks, homies.